hamada burger. Brioche, toasted, hamada, caramelized onion, crudité, lechuga, hamada burger, hamada spoon, salt, burger flip. Time to put a bit more crust on the other side. I use these red Leicester slices, very easy with you, you know. Put a glass of water, splash, cover, done. Now we prepare the burger. Mayonnaise, fuck. Ketchup, lettuce. This is iceberg that I've shredded up with a knife. Tomatoes, little ones, free, season, caramelized onion. Okay. Good.
Okay. Some real stinkers there that he was the executive producer of.
Hamada burger. Well, technically this isn't the hamada burger. Technically this is just my burger, Freddie Lauder's burger.
Specifically what I was told is that
I would like to thank my brother Freddie for sending that over. I genuinely think that's a brilliant video. I think Freddie, I've always said Freddie is a very, very good cook. And I've always wanted him to start up his own burger chain and call it Freddie's Burgers. And I've actually already got the the Instagram account already and Twitter as well. I think I've got that somewhere. But thank you so much to Freddie for sending that over. It's brilliant. And the thing is that hamada burger looks way too tasty. And that is a problem. I do think that's a problem. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good time. Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to Small Screen Stories on a Friday, the Friday edition of the show. We don't usually do a show on Friday, but we took a couple of days off at the beginning of the week. And I mean, this might end up kind of turning into a Super Team Megaforce kind of, yeah, like not quite a Super Team Megaforce, but something a Super Team Megaforce light, let's call it, because
what?
You know, some people will be joining, and it'll be a version of the show. It won't be the Super Team Megaforce. Let's just say that it's a Friday edition of Small Screen Stories. You can find Small Screen wherever on all over social media. So that's Small Screen Co. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I do release this as a podcast, rather like late at the moment, unfortunately, for reasons I'm just super busy. And but it is on a podcast. It is available on podcast wherever you get your podcast. If you want to listen to this as a podcast, which is kind of weird to listen to, but also quite fun. And what else can you do? You can go to the site as well, which is at small-screen.co.uk. Right. You can also hit that like button. You can hit that like button and share the video. That'd be really, really good. James? Why don't you get that clip up for me? And we can do that. I like this in the comments. So this is a Super Team Mini Force. That's a good comment. I like that. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it.
I don't do requests.
James doesn't do requests. So anyway, do
go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like. I just told you to hit the motherfucking like button. So you gotta do it right now. Do it.
Mikey just laughing away in there as usual. So we have DLW in the chat says, "What's up, Super Team?
Super Team Megaforce."
There's going to be a version of the Super Team on tonight, not the full team, but the mini team. Who else is in the chat? Cocainum, same Sonic, different case. I want some cocaine.
Cocainum.
There you go. That's for you. Who else do we have in the chats? We have the Sax God says, "Did they put up the wrong time?" Lol. By the way, thank you for the nice comments about my playing. I'm getting back to who I used to be, but just in case I don't. I always have an old Saxman God handle now. Okay. This is we have been playing a clip of the Sax God playing saxophone. He is brilliant. For some reason, James kind of made it creepy. That clip. You see, James made that clip so creepy because you could just listen to the sax god playing the saxophone brilliantly in that clip, but James had to go and add some Walter Hamada in there for you. That's what the show's all about. DLW says, quiet or you're getting a knuckle supper.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
Call it, Sanchez, or you get a knuckle supper. There you go. That's for you. Who else do we have in the chat? We have same Sonic, different cased. Case. That looks tasty. The Hamada burger does look really tasty. We'll probably play the clip again later on in the show so that people can have a look at it again. Jedi Master EJ says, lol, good stuff. I hope you're doing
Hamada burger. Hamada spoon.
I think it's the Hamada spoon, and I do think Freddie's trying to do the Super Team Megaforce voice in there. I think I need to do a bit of a narration over the top of that. That'll be fun. But no, it's really good. Also, Freddie, if you're watching, you need to put that on TikTok as well. That'll do really well. Sean Harrigan says, hit that like button, turn it blue. Yeah, hit it. Hit the like button. Why don't you? That'll be good. So Reese75 says, so this is Super Team Mini Force. Yes, I picked that one up. I think that's a very good name for this. Super Team Mini Force. the mini version, the junior version. Who else do we have in the chat? We have Lords of the Longbox here. Super Team Megaforce Great Lakes Avengers version. So the Jedi. So I really like that. Jedi Master EJ says Super Society Team Megaforce. That is a long one. That's a long one to say. Who else do we have in the comments? We have same Sonic, different case again, asking for Mikey. There you go. That's for you. And then we have a Reese75 says also hello there.
Hello there.
We're trying to get better at this. We're trying to get the timings just right. And the sax guy says I'm driving, but saying, hey, dude, just pay attention to your driving.
Well, it doesn't help. Like in the interface, one clip is way like 3 scrolls up, and the other one's
we got to sort that out. We got to sort that stuff out. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
There's 90 clips we're using right now. So.
I know it's a crazy amount of clips that people are asking for. Who else we have? Same Sonic, different case again says get Sil on. I think Sil's working at the moment, so he probably won't be on. He did say he'll be watching, so he'll be in the chat probably.
Welcome to Super Team Megaforce. I am not Edward Lauder.
He is not Edward Lauder. No, he is Sil Abdul. Captain America 4 is happening. Yes, Red Ranger 241. It is happening, and it's happening with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier showrunner. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, Captain America.
What happened when I was napping?
Yeah, Captain America 4 is happening. Yeah, that was confirmed.
Are we getting Batrock?
Probably. He's still alive, technically, isn't he?
I want some Batrock.
You want some very bad Canadian Quebecois accent? It's honestly, I couldn't listen to him. I really, something about that.
Well, I want to talk to you about this, man.
Yeah.
Do you think you ever see North Americans say, "Oh man, that Southern accent is really butchering the English language"? Really? That's all I hear from people in France is like, "Oh, those Quebecois, they really butcher the French
actually,
language."
No. What you hear is it's people make fun of it. They do make fun of it because it is funny. If you speak French and like you speak French in France, I mean, there are places in France where their accents are kind of funny as well. But the Quebecois thing is kind of different because it's more like, I think a lot of French people find it quite cute, but I don't know what it was. Batrock's one is kind of incomprehensible even for me. When he's speaking French, I'm like, I literally can't understand what he's saying, and it's almost a different. I mean, it's not a different language, but they have kind of very odd sayings and stuff, which is just quite amusing. But I think
like
it's just
every other kind of English dialect does too.
Are you actually defending the Quebecois?
I'm defending that people have different languages and dialects.
No, yeah, you're completely right, but it's just I don't know. It's just something is quite amusing. It is quite amusing for most French speakers to hear Quebecois because it's almost like it's like an American trying to speak French in a weird way, and it's a very old form of French as well. It's probably it's probably closer to the original version of French because it didn't really progress the same way. So again, I just find it very difficult to understand them, and I speak French fluently. So he's fine as a character. He was a bit meh, to be honest. So I was a bit like, whenever he turned up, I was like, oh, all right, fine, you're back again. And Captain America doesn't beat him really. He just escapes.
You need to read some Batroc the Leaper comics.
Is it? I've never actually come across that character before. Is he like a big character in the Marvel comics?
He's a fun character. He's like Punisher and Daredevil and Captain America, obviously. Yeah,
but he is a villain, right?
He's a villain. Yeah.
Do you reckon he was done a disservice in this show?
No,
Falcon and Winter Soldier. You liked it.
Yeah. He should have had a few more action scenes, but they jam-packed a lot on that show. And well, I feel the ending was rushed, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. And I will say he definitely is Quebecois, isn't he? The actor.
I think so. Yeah, that's what they said in the comments. I see Peter backstage nodding. So
yeah, he is from Quebec. You could definitely hear it. Dan Ziggs in the comments says, "Hey all, hey Dan, I hope you're doing well." Who else do we have? We have Red Ranger. Oh man. We have Red Ranger 241 saying Power Rangers Super Mega Force. Well, actually, I think the idea of the name did come from Power Rangers. Maybe you have to ask James. No, because there is a
movie from the 1980s.
Okay, so it was that because there is a Mega Force Power Rangers thing as well.
And like 10 years ago, I entered a 24-hour film festival, and our name was Super Team Monkey Force or Super Team Alpha Monkey Force or something like that. I named it. And then so I was like the super team. It's cheesy.
Who else do we have in the comments? Just to say hello to everybody. I have TJ says Strange Society Megaforce. People like the Strange Society thing. I've noticed that recently. Who else do we have? We have James should get us. This is Re75. James should get a stream deck for all the clips at the press of a button.
I've seen you before. You're the asshole on TV.
Hey,
that would.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm actually working on my own UI that I'm building, so it's coming.
Really?
Yeah, I got like 20. I got like 20 projects on the go.
The thing is,
Super Team Megaforce merch coming this weekend too.
Awesome. Would it work though on Stream Deck?
Yeah, there's a way. Not using a Stream Deck, but there's a way.
Not on StreamYard. So would there be a way to do that? Because I've got a mini Stream Deck, so I could put some stuff through that. I don't know if it'd work. It works on OBS. I know that.
I'm creating a software one, so that's tied in specifically to StreamYard. The way they just implemented a new program a couple weeks ago. It's all boring stuff, but
this is very inside baseball right now. This is looking at how the show's produced. Who do we have? We have Red Ranger again says, "Don't kill Sharon, kill Batroc Zalipa." Sorry. Well, we'll talk a bit about Falcon and Winter Soldier when Peter comes on the show. There's a lot to talk about. Who else do we have in the comments? We have this is TJ. Wait, Captain for America is happening. Captain America 4, not Captain for America. Captain America 4 is happening. Yes, it is happening. I think that was I can't remember which of the trades confirmed it, but they confirmed that it's happening. That it will have it'll have Sam as Captain America in it. So Anthony Mackie will be Captain America. And it'll be done by the showrunner of the show of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So we'll probably have that over a Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2. It did seem as though like this end of this season was really teeing up another season, but probably not. Probably the movie. Probably Captain America 4. Who else do we have? We have the famous, the infamous Freddie Lauder says they use quite old French terms they don't use in France. Poutine is
hamada burger.
Now he's exactly right. They use old French terms. They also, I don't have anything against people in Quebec. I just think it's quite amusing to hear them speak. It's quite cute. It's an interesting. You lie. I'm not lying.
You're fired.
I'm not.
Shut up! Then the hell with you.
The hell with you.
The hell you will.
Who the hell are you?
I am the the guy. I'm the host. This is sabotage. This is sabotage right now. What's going on right now? Yes, Freddie, you're right. And Putin is good. And Hamada Putin would be interesting. Re75. What do the French think about New Orleans French? Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's another kind of interesting version of the language. It's again, I can't understand a lot of it because it's very different to French. It's like it's a dialect kind of. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool that French is spoken in North America so much. It's pretty fun. Who else do we have? Who else do we have in the comments? Will Chris Evans return? So, I mean, if you're going to go by the deadline report, then yeah, he will. But like Kevin Feige's recently kind of come out and said those aren't true, and said that what he said was that Chris Evans denied those rumors, but he didn't actually deny them. He just said this is news to me on Twitter. So I'm pretty sure he will return in Captain America 4. I was actually thinking he was going to come back in that. I was actually thinking he was going to come back at the very end of the series. I thought there was a place for him to return, but they didn't do it. Well, let's move on to another comment before we get everyone in. Raj is here saying hi guys. Hey to Raj, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. And TJ says GSP. I'm not sure. Is that okay? Maybe James can explain what that means, or somebody can, because I don't know. Get him out of my way. Go on. Let's get rid of
the
it.
actor who plays Batrock.
What, his name is GSP?
No, it's I can't say it. Hold on. Peter, do you remember his name?
George St. Pierre.
Thank you.
What was his first name? Gerard St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre. George St.
Pierre. Okay, cool. And there we. All right, thank you for getting rid of Georges St. Pierre for me. Thank you very much. Right, we have? Freddie again says Aqua Team.
Yeah.
That's we're coming up with all sorts of different names of this new Friday show. Right, we have Raj again, still trying to keep up with what was said on yesterday's video, but looking forward to it today. There was a lot of stuff said on yesterday's video, and we have many of the same people back today. We do have Peter coming on the show. We have, I do believe, Clint will be on, maybe.
Yeah.
He's going to be on. So it's going to be the same lineup. Maybe with some special guests. Who knows? Leroy King says, hello guys, great live. I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I did too. Someone else didn't that's involved in this show, but I did like the finale, and we'll get onto that in a bit. Sean Harrigan says, can you bring up Sean Harrigan? Thank you. Says Super Team Megaforce merch. Yes, that is
Super Team Megaforce.
And we should call it
Super Team Mega.
We should call it Super Team Mega merch. That's what we should call it. And you'll probably be able to get that sometime. Maybe next week. Maybe ready for the next show. Who knows? Who knows what happens in the world of YouTube? Right. Should we do some more comments, or do you want to bring some guests in, James? It's up to you. You are the producer. Let's do more comments. Raj says, hey, James. So Raj is happy to see James. The Sax God says, yeah, going to be honest, James, I sometimes screamed at the TV because of the drops. But once you get used to it, the drops are like part of the show. That's what makes your guys' show different from others. So I'm assuming this is about the clips. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because, when when people come into the show for the first time, I think it's quite jarring. Especially, I remember when I first started doing this with James, it was interesting at the beginning. It's difficult to keep your flow going, and you got clips going everywhere, but it makes our show different, and it also keeps me on my toes, and it sometimes gives me a rest, which is what I need sometimes. The Saxco says, you guys are I think you want to say are fresh and good, and I thought that before last night. Thank you very much, the Sax God. You're very kind. Right, we have Raj again says, all the Falcon and the Winter Soldier talk today, or any Hamada Burger / Snyderverse talk today too. It's going to be, so the idea was to do the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Invincible, and Mortal Kombat. But we can talk about all sorts of things. That's the beauty of this show. We'll talk a bit about Hamada Burger and Snyderverses. We probably will, because we always end up talking about Warner Brothers. So yeah, they might come. It probably will come up. Yeah, they're Looney Tunes. Right. Who else do we have? Is that it? Is that all the comments? Have we said hello to everybody? TJ says, didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, not one episode. Well, this might not be the show for you then, TJ. I'm going to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, we will spoil what's happening. Now, if you don't care about what happens in it, then yeah, you can continue watching. What is yours and James's favorite clip out of your arsenal? Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think mine is the this is my ego talking, but I do like the my impression of Michael Caine. I'm gonna be honest, but every single Arnie one is brilliant. So
go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like. I just told you to hit the motherfucking like button. So you gotta do it right now. Do it.
And I also love Matt Berry's clips as well. So that one, yeah, the Matt Berry ones are brilliant. I've also seen that Red Ranger 241 says needs more Alan Partridge clips. That is a good shout. We should probably get some more. If James knows who Alan Partridge is, then I'll be very happy because he is a British legend and played by Steve Coogan. Yeah, he's funny. I'm pretty sure you can find some brilliant clips of his.
Yeah, I'll get on that for sure. He's great.
He is great. Right. Who else?
This is my favorite clip right now.
Oh, yeah. That's a brilliant clip.
And Peter's, can I play Peter's favorite clip?
Yeah, go on. Do it now. He can't find it. No, but actually, what I know that if it does feel like this is me kind of shitting all over Amber Heard, but I will say one thing about one thing about that nightmare sequence. One thing about the nightmare sequence.
Not shitting on you.
She might shit on your bed first, though.
She's terrible in that scene. She's terrible in it. And what I will defeat all people, and then she's going around with two bloody boxes of water. I'm like, so you're only useful if you carry around two bloody boxes of water in a fucking nightmare.
But she's wearing the shit out of that suit, though, son.
Yeah, that's not an excuse. Her character in that scene is useless. That's Peter's favorite clip. Yeah, either knuckle supper or cocainum.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
Is cocainum coming later? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's probably going to turn up.
Cocainum.
There you go. Right, I think it's time to bring in.
Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства? Cocainum.
Oh God!
There you are. That's my favorite clip. How are you doing,
it's a
Peter?
great clip. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired. Lots of stuff to watch today. An unusual amount of stuff to watch today. So we had Falcon the Winter Soldier, Mortal Kombat, Invincible, and there was something else that I think came out today as well that was quite big. But those are the three main things.
You're a busy man. I watched one thing.
One thing. Yeah, I had to review them, so I watched all of them, and I have to say, I think if I was to rank them, I think Invincible 1, Falcon and Winter Soldier 2, Mortal Kombat very low down at 3.
I did warn you. I did warn you.
It was shit.
Now I did that sight unseen, but yeah, I was like, you know what? If the shill guys are like, gonna be a rough one. Yeah, I had a feeling it might be tough for you, but I'm glad you suffered, so we don't have to.
Exactly. I suffered, and I probably will have a rant about it later today. Well, yes, today. I've got to start saying today because it is today in America. James keeps on getting annoyed.
One of the reasons I like your Amber Heard rant is not only because you're really passionate about it, but while you're making a point, TiVo wants to talk about how good she looks.
I was talking about. I was really talking about her acting. I didn't even.
I don't think TiVo was that interested in her acting.
No, I don't think so either. You know, each to their own. So
exactly.
I think we should start talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the finale. It was the big one.
Yep.
What did you think?
It was definitely a finale.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way I did after episode 5, where I thought, people either going in, they're set to go. If you were really enjoying it going in, this won't change your opinion. And if you weren't enjoying it, or if you were on the fence, this episode was not going to persuade you either way. I just thought it was more of the same. So for me, ultimately, it was disappointing. But clearly Marvel doesn't really care since they just gave the showrunner the writing, at least for the next Captain America movie. So, I mean, they're certainly happy with him to some extent, at least.
I think that's the thing, that it really, especially at the end, it felt like a massive setup for another thing.
Yeah.
And
we got to see Daffy Duck again.
Yeah. I will say that I actually really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think one of the reasons I enjoyed it is because Marvel's starting to really, I mean, I suppose the term is I've seen a lot of people saying this, is that the Falcon and Winter Soldier is just too woke. But for me, it really hits home.
Sorry. Hold on.
Whoop. James appeared and disappeared.
Yeah.
Like a ghost.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I have seen a lot of that on Twitter. Now, I'm not going to say who the people are that are talking about it in that way, but I was like,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
It's not. But the way, I mean, for me, it was really all about that speech that Sam made as Captain America, and I just found it really powerful. I found it to be really, really powerful, and I think that the show has really been about that. Has been about racism and systemic racism in the United States. There was that scene with the police where Sam was almost arrested by the police because he was black, basically. And then they ended up arresting Bucky, which is quite funny. But I don't know. I felt that it was kind of one of the more thoughtful, in a weird way, like Marvel properties we've seen in a while. It was like, and also, I mean, I thought I really did like the fight, the action set pieces. I thought they were really quite good in this, and I did also like the suit. I know a lot of people have been talking about the suit, but I quite liked it.
I was, the suit, I wouldn't have really cared,
Yeah,
I really get excited about
the first black Captain America, a suit where it gets all covered in white. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I don't know. Peter, I got to ask you, did you not think that the production value was lacking a little bit in this episode?
I mean, to me, it was pretty similar to what the whole show has been. I mean, I'm a lot more forgiving, I think, than you guys are on visuals. I'm much more interested in plot and story. Your movie or your show can look like crap, and if it's a good story, I will put up with it. So at least for me, the visuals were fine.
Well, even the plot, like my girlfriend called Sharon Carter being the power broker, like as soon as she sent Batroc. Right.
Well, yeah, and we talked about this the other day on the show. There was no one else it could be. Does it make a whole lot of sense? Yeah,
it could have been Batroc.
No, Batroc is not a thinker. I think that's pretty apparent. Yeah, no. To me, it was pretty obvious who it had to be, given what we were shown, and there wasn't really any payoff for that. No. It seemed like a very good way to just kill off Aaron Kellyman's character and just move on from that.
But Mikey did say, he sent me a message saying that she could be a Skrull.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular theory.
Yeah,
I think if they were going to show that, they might have done that already, just like they did in WandaVision, where the Skrull talks to Monica Rambeau. So because they didn't do that, either they want to save it, or
they
it's
haven't
just
fully decided yet.
Yeah, that could be it too.
So, but I just want to say quickly, I thought it was rushed. It was serviceable. It was a good episode, but I thought it was a bit rushed. You could tell that some of the scenes were reshoots, and they didn't really have time to plan it out as they usually do. And Sam's entrance as Captain America was a bit. It could have used a better build-up. It could have used a better. Yeah, it was awkward. It could use a better build-up, and I think they were banking on people watching episode 5 and then going right into episode 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it seemed a bit lackluster to me to a final episode. Like WandaVision's was a lot better than Falcon and Winter Soldier, just to me. But
I hate to say it, but I agree.
What's that?
I said I hate to say it, but I actually agree with you. Yeah, I do think the finale for WandaVision was better.
I thought they were both decent finales. I get what you mean. What James was saying about it feeling a bit rushed, because it did a bit. Because there are some episodes in this that, let's face it, they were filler. Some of the episodes in this, and I felt like it was kind of, it ended like episode 5 ended on that kind of cliffhanger where it's like the flag smashers took over the whatever it was, the can't even remember now.
Thank God they were threatening characters who had no names. Oh
yes,
no!
Well, literally, it is that, isn't it? It's a bunch of politicians that are all just arseholes.
Introduced that episode. Oh boy!
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's some key points about this about the episode that I did like. I'm going to be honest. I really like I like the finale a lot, and I know this is why
that's good.
This is why I like,
counterpoint.
Yeah. Exactly. The things I liked about it, I really liked Sam's performance, Anthony Mackie's performance in this. I thought he was really strong. I really liked US Agent's reveal that him coming back to fight alongside them. I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good moment. The speech I thought was incredible. I thought Sam's speech was really, really. It moved me. It really did. And then I liked the ending. I liked the fact that it was a kind of celebration towards the end of like, and hopeful. And it gave me, people are saying in the comments, good vibes. It did give me good vibes. And I was like, this is good for the MCU, I think. I don't know, you probably disagree with me.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I think what worked for you is going to be what generally worked for people who like the show. I have a very good friend of mine who, she's well aware of the things that bother me about the show, but on an emotional level, the show works for her very, very well. And so I think for people who like the show, you like the messaging, you like the emotional beats. And so that means the other problems, and they are legion. This show has so many holes in it, unfortunately. But if you're like, you know what, the overall messaging, the way it's presented, some of the performances, I can look past that. Most people are only going to remember the key points, which is Sam is Cap now, Bucky's fine now, John Walker is U.S. agent, Sharon Carter bad, and Batroc has interesting French. That's what they're going to take away from the show. And so for someone who like me, who's very noodly about plot and like, what is Falcon really? What are his stakes in this whole show? And he doesn't really have any. And what happens in the show to change his mind about becoming Captain America? And the answer is nothing.
Nothing.
Those kinds of things drive me bananas. But I think plenty of people don't care about that. They're like, no, I just want to see Falcon with the shield in his new outfit from Wakanda, flying around, beating up poor old Batroc. And
poor old
Batroc, and that's fine. And that's not a wrong response. It's just for me, like the messaging that really worked for you. For me, it was all very obvious. Like, when they first announced the show, Falcon's holding the shield. I wonder what's going to happen in this show. And when you heard Isaiah Bradley was going to be in it, gee, I wonder what the themes of the show are going to. You know what I mean? It's all very expected. And I really wanted.
Anyway, enough about our balls.
and then
I really wanted. Hey, Clint.
Hey, what's up, man?
Clint.
What's happening? Can you hear me?
I was just going to finish my point, Clint.
Yeah.
Then you can talk all you want.
Put me in, Coach. Put me in.
There you go. I was just going to say what I would have liked in the show, because this was the second most hyped show for me behind Loki. Of the first set of announcements, I was really looking forward to this. I thought they made a brilliant decision to have Falcon say no to the shield when Steve hands it to him. I thought that was great. Let him earn it. Don't just have it handed to him. And what I really hoped they would do is, I hoped he would talk to Isaiah before he gave it up and go, oh my God, this shield has all sorts of implications and symbolism. I need to put this aside. This is not for me. I can be a symbol of hope without something the military hands me. And then through the process of the show goes, no, wait, I can't be this cynical. This symbol could mean things to a lot of people. It could be a unifying thing. And so I don't want to go down the path of cynicism. I want to embrace the symbol, take it up, and then he convinces Isaiah through his actions, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I wanted to see. And instead, Falcon is just like, they gave it to John Walker. My shield. 5 episodes of running around after this. And it's like, what? And he talks to Isaiah after that. I'm like, that doesn't affect you? He was like, nah, I need the shield. So that drove me bananas. But go ahead, Clint. I imagine you liked it.
I've had enough. Get out.
Hey, what is that supposed to mean? Clint likes everything. Look, man, I hear what you're saying. I feel like Sam is a real positive guy, and then you see him have his troubles with the bank. Yeah, we're gonna go in there and do this, and then he gets shut down, and then he's having a hard time, but he's still like, no, we're gonna find a way. That's who his character is. We're gonna find a way. That's why Cap handed him the shield. I feel like he had such a respect for Cap, and also maybe things like not being super powered or anything, like probably made him think like, hey, I'm not right for this. I'm already got my thing, and I mean, those are huge boots to jump into, and so I feel like he wasn't quite ready, and I think, like, if we put this shield in a museum, we can all respect Cap as much as I do. And then the government turned around and handed it off to some clown. And I think seeing that and all the trouble that was caused by that, and then the murder with the shield and all that, I think that made him realize, you know what? I have to do this, even though I maybe don't even feel like I deserve it, but I have to man up and do this. So he jumped into it. He had to step up to the occasion. I also think seeing his hope that he has, his character, I think seeing Isaiah Bradley, what happened to him, that hurt him. And I think that is a thing that's going on in the world right now, is there's a lot of people that are looking on, a lot of terrible things that have happened over time. And instead of being upset about it, he wants to affect change and do something with that. So he decided, I got to do this. I got to be a hope for the world, and I got to be a voice and show people that they're hope. I'm the guy who's going to provide hope for everybody. That's what came out in his speech, and he just had to step up to the plate. And I think, and at the end, he gave Isaiah hope. You see the change. He's like, holy crap, I've been sitting here cynical for obvious reasons. He was treated terribly, and there terrible things happened to him. But by the end of it, I said, you know what? That's what Captain America is supposed to be. He's supposed to be a beacon of hope. And I even had my issues with Captain America because he's kind of campy. He's such a goody two shoes that he's not my favorite Marvel character. But I like Captain America. But Sam stepped into that. He did what he had to do. He used tech and things to step up to the plate. And I thought it was cool. I loved when the wings stuck into the ground in the first 10, 20 seconds when he flew up. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I got excited. And then he started kicking ass. And, I don't know if the suit's helping him handle that shield or not, but it's he did great. And also the redemption of John Walker. It was a quick, fast redemption. I'm like, okay, I'm going to save a truck full of people. Now I'm a good guy. That's a little bit of a stretch, but still, it shows he wants to be good, and he chose saving those people over revenge. If he would have chosen revenge, that would have been a different thing. The power broker, that thing was okay. What I realized is they duct taped this series together because they had to change the storyline and everything. So there's stuff where there's lines, there's phone dialogue that's changed. Their lips are saying different things. There's lines that are said from somebody off screen that's obvious ADR, and knowing that, if I was a kid, might be different, but knowing about all that, I give them a pass for their shortcomings because, like I said, they duct taped this thing together, and I think they did pretty good overall. U.S. Agent getting the black suit at the end, the raft, I thought was awesome. I really liked the Zemo's butler guy blowing up the guys. I'm like, yeah, Zemo's in prison, and he still gets his and he can sit there and smile about it and make his plans. I also liked the raft. There's going to be obvious Thunderbolts things to come. So there's a whole bunch of good things. I think as far as I'll just cut it because I've been ranting, but as far as a duct tape, I drank a lot of caffeine just a minute ago. As far as a duct tape together series goes, I think it was fantastic. And yes, there are a few little plot holes and this and that, but I think they did good, and I felt good, and I like the message they sent because I think this has been a crazy year, and I think America needs a little hope, and the world on top of that. So there you go. That's what I got.
There you go. That was impassioned.
That's the short version. If you want me to do the long version, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, Clint. Oh, sorry, James. I agree with like the initial part of what you were saying. I mostly agree with it because a lot of what you're talking about is in Sam's initial speech when he gives it up. The one part where I disagree and the specifics, and maybe a little more broadly, is when you said they gave it to a clown. John Walker isn't presented that way. Like, you may have felt he was that way, and Bucky keeps telling you he's crazy. But in terms of, if you actually go through, and I've done this, if you actually go through what he does in the show, there's no real crazy to him until his best friend dies.
And
very clearly, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries.
I was going to say,
I just called him a clown to shorten my rant. But continue your thought, and I'll address John Walker here in just a second because he might have been my favorite character on the show.
He has, I think, the most coherent and interesting story. This is so weird, but he's got the best storyline in the show. Now, whether that's because the show had to be butchered to get rid of the virus plot, we'll probably never know. But you can follow his arc through, and he has what all heroes do, which he runs into things where they go wrong for him, and he has to overcome them. And the best heroes, for the most part, are heroes who have to overcome something, and that's his arc. Now, obviously, they did that for meta reasons. We want this character for something else, so he can't be a complete bad guy. So they really tried to make him as good as they could without taking away from Falcon, getting the shield. That was important. But yeah, and I do think, though, for a lot of people, the messaging and what they bring with them to the show is more than enough to wipe away the problems they have with it. And I'm not arguing that it's a bad show. I wouldn't say that. I'm presenting a counterpoint because I think in terms of coverage, this show is going to get a very big thumbs up broadly. So I'm just trying to offer a counterpoint, because if you're a non-MCU person and you walk into this show and you're like, all right, sign me up, nice grounded, it's going to be like Lethal Weapon, going to have a nice coherent narrative with interesting character arcs, and you don't really get that, you can fill the gaps yourself, but the narrative presented to you is not very coherent. There's no interesting villains.
Wow, what can I say?
Henry Cavill is here. I like his mustache. Sorry, go ahead, James.
Must be the mustache.
Is James muted?
Weird.
Yeah, I'm muted. Yeah. Hey, can we catch up with the comments here quick?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep.
No problem. Do you guys think more people Team Snyderverse because the MCU resolved the main storyline? Oh yeah. So do you think more people kind of got off the Marvel train after Endgame?
I don't think so. I don't think the two communities are related at all. Snyderverse people are hardcore DC fans.
In general, after Endgame and it wrapped up all the stories, it's kind of hard to relaunch a franchise that way or continue it on.
I think if there are less people on the Marvel train, that's because the IP they're doing right now are lesser known, so people aren't as excited about it. If you guys know non-Marvel people, I'm sure we all do, and they heard the lineup at the beginning of Phase 4, they're like, who are these people? And the level of interest isn't the same. That doesn't mean they won't get hooked by it, but I do think that without the big names, it's a little harder to get casual fans in. Whereas Snyder Cut, right? He's redoing his movie from 3 years ago with the three biggest characters in DC. Everyone knows who they are.
Yeah.
So,
well, what do you think, Clint?
I think bringing in characters that people don't know is difficult for people. Just like he said, it's like but they're going to expand on all this stuff, and there's going to be lesser known characters that become main characters. Like Iron Man wasn't a main character when he started out, and now he's a household word. It's just going to take a little time. Also, maybe people might think they're falling off the train. We just had a big gap in production because of the apocalypse, and so they haven't been able to shoot and finish stuff. Things that were supposed to be released a year ago haven't been out yet. So if there's any weird non-excitement, it's just people are just chomping at the bit for content. And also the content that they're releasing on Disney Plus is not it's not quite as complete a story. It tells backstory. From what I've heard and read, Feige wants people to watch the movies without having seen the TV shows. So they don't tell all these little things that people are theorizing are going to happen. They're not going to happen because they don't want people to miss. They don't want people to miss stuff that's going to be in the movies. So it's just, this is just character development for the B team characters that we don't get to know and love on the screen, on the big screen, because they're B teamers. Of course, they're going to give the A team guys the most screen time. So
yeah, unfortunately, we're all waiting for like the big epic debut of Phase 4 now, right? But out of the gate, we get the 2 miniseries, which are good. I like them, but it just seemed like they were lacking a little bit. And I think maybe a lot of the fan theories and the cameos and the connections that kind of ruined it with all the hype for me. Anyway. But okay, so
well, can I talk about John Walker real fast and just to get it out so I can stop thinking about it?
Shield.
I was just going to say, John Walker, I think, was a really cool character because I feel like he did some terrible things, and I kind of touched on this the other day, but I feel like he did some bad stuff in war, and he got rewarded for it with medals and stuff, and it's stuff that they don't really tell you, but there's some bad things that happen in war. And I feel like he thought that being Captain America was going to be a way to redeem himself, and he gets to be a real good guy that doesn't have to do bad things. I get to be the good guy, and I think that was a big part. It's like underneath it all, that's what he wants. Then he comes in and he gets treated like a clown. These guys aren't respecting him. These Avengers aren't respecting him, and the whole thing messed with his head. He's like, he just wanted to do the right thing the whole time. And again,
but his ego got in a bit of a way every time.
It did, but he does have an ego, and he also is a little bit damaged from having to do some bad stuff. And
so was Chris Evans in World War II. So was that Captain America. So yeah, what's John funny? Walker's ego that got in the way. You can't have that quality as Captain America.
No, absolutely not. I'm not even saying he should be Captain America. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that's a real person. Real people have insecurities and things that bother them, bad things that they've done in their past, and that affect their behavior. And I feel like this is a really complicated character, and the way he handled them as far as insecurities and the whole thing, it painted a really good picture of this character. And now, at the end, he's like, "Hey, we're back, man! I'm finally," and he's gonna be reinstated, working for some secret. Yeah. So I mean, it's like it just shows at the end. It's like all he ever really wanted to do was do a good job and do what he was trained to do. And then he got his buddy killed. You know what I mean? It's like he wants to do good. He just kind of went down a weird path. So
knock.
Yeah, it was a great character.
Back.
He's back.
Yeah, I've been having really bad internet issues.
Uh-oh.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's not great here. It's not great in France, in good old France, the internet. You see, what did I miss? First off, what did I miss? I heard Clint was going on a rant. No.
Yes. He really liked the show.
You really like the show. You really like it, yeah.
That would be the shortest way to sum it up. Yeah.
Okay. I think I agree, and I think I agree with you about John Walker. I'm just going to say that, Clint. I think you're spot on. The Sats God says, "Man, I'm telling you, the episode rocked. I don't get this depressed feeling or that it wasn't awesome. It was just awesome. Me and my son cheered when Sam shows up in his suit. It was awesome." So the Sats God thinks it was awesome. And then the rest of the episode rocked, and I think it sets up Secret Invasion perfectly as a big surprise. If Carter hasn't turned, as a big surprise as Carter hasn't turned, and Fury saw an issue before he left. So, have you guys spoken about Sharon Carter yet or not?
Have you? Just briefly.
Just briefly. I think this is the worst part of the show.
Yes,
I think what they did with her was the worst part of the show. Also, I'm going to say I called it. She was on an HTC phone. No good guy, no bad guy uses an iPhone. That was why she was on an HTC phone, a fucking phone from 2009. Like seriously, it's like maybe not 2009. It's probably 2012 that phone came out. It's an old phone. Let's just say that
it is.
And I do think the end was just very cheesy, kind of the whole like. Yep. Oh, I'm the power broker, and that was my biggest issue with that. Like that's was
a great invitation.
I'm the power broker. Hello. it's like South.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
This is okay. Falcon and Winter Soldier is like you could do it for a South Park style. It'd be like, hey, I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy, pal. And then the end of the show, oh, we're buddies. Yeah, we're pals.
You and he were buddies, weren't you?
Once.
I do think a lot of plot and character was a little rushed, and you're just sort of shown or told like, hey, this is how it is. This is how this person is. This is how this event is, and they're not too worried about it. And again, I think you're going to get a split where people are perfectly fine with that, and other people who are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And certainly Sharon Carter though is just no development at all. She has a buddy who I don't think has any lines at all, or maybe just one. We don't know who she is. She just like helps her in and out of cars. And you're like, wait, what? And then she gets shot, and then they forgot about her getting shot later. I'm like, wait, I'm sure you got shot. No, you're fine. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, because in the MCU, being shot doesn't mean anything.
No,
we
all
know that.
It means something.
Also, in the stomach, being shot in the stomach is actually really bad.
Really, I never. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
No, you didn't, James. No, but that is someone being shot in the stomach.
Yeah.
But is James sleepy tonight? Yeah, probably. Not many memes. No, it's because we got Peter on, and Peter is very, very serious about Marvel.
So that's
Jeez, is that true?
That's the.
It's like fuck it, you know. I mean.
How many more of these?
He's making up for it now. Danzig says, "Sorry, I'm late. Just finishing off Mortal Kombat. Wait, where's Ed? I was taken off the air by Warner Brothers. I think that's what happened. They were taking me out because I did not like Mortal Kombat. Raj says the one good thing about the one good thing that the MCU is doing well is their loyalty to the fan base. Interesting. They're not twisting themselves in knots to try and please the casual viewer. Feige's sticking to his guns. What do you think about that?
I don't know in what way. Like I'm not sure what you would mean by that, because the MCU, like, there isn't a hardcore fan base the way you would say there's a hardcore Snyder Cut fan base or whatever. There's sort of like this broad swath of people who like Marvel, but they tend to like different things about it. So I don't know that you could call it a fan base in the same way you would for other things, because there's a lot of disagreement within it. And just like right now, like, you know, we all broadly liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just have more problems with it. You'd get the same with WandaVision. There are people who really love it, people who got tired of the mystery boxes and Ralph Boner, but none of that prevents them from still being MCU fans. You don't really see someone go, you know, fuck it, I didn't like this show, I'm done. I'm going to take my money and go watch Mortal Kombat. You know, that kind of.
It's like, fuck it.
Exactly.
I still thought Boner was going to be the power broker. I'm super pissed about that.
Oh, that would have been great.
That's actually the one thing I think I've got right about MCU theories is that Sharon Carter is the power broker, but also she was actually the only person it could be. And I'm not Mutant Rockstar says Clint has a great point about Walker.
Hey, thanks, Mutant.
Mutant Rockstar. I like that.
I thought
that's a good name.
I thought she was going to be the power broker, but working for somebody else, like a government agency, and kind of planted there. Is what I was hoping
that would have
for.
made more sense.
Yeah.
Edward, didn't I message you after the Batrock episode where Sharon Carter called her and said Danielle thinks that Sharon Carter's the power broker before you called it.
Yeah, you did,
Yeah. So you called it.
So she called it. Yes, Danielle called it. Well done, Danielle. But for me, it was really the HTC phone that did it for me.
That's hilarious.
I suppose overall, I think it's pretty good, the show.
Yeah.
If you're going to take it in as a whole, I think it's a pretty good show. What do you? I think Peter's going to disagree with me.
No, I mean it compared to average TV, it's definitely better than an average TV show.
Yeah,
and for me, the various problems that it has are annoying enough that I don't know that I would make a point of rewatching it unless I really had to. I had the same issues with WandaVision, but if someone was like, "Is it a good show?" and I know that those aren't the kinds of things that are going to bother them, I'll be like, "Yeah, go watch it. It has emotional moments. It has good performances. There are plenty of things to like about it. It's just, for me, my expectations of Marvel are very, very high.
Yes.
And when it doesn't hit that mark, I'm disappointed because I know they can do better."
I think
bring him.
That was great.
I think of the show kind of like a somewhere halfway between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the movies. You know what I mean? It's somewhere in the middle. There's times where things that are like movie like, and then all of a sudden it falls into like Burn Notice for a minute. You know what I mean? Like when
don't diss on Burn
no.
Notice.
I've seen every episode of Burn Notice, some of them twice. I love that show.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like when they start working on the boat together and stuff like that, it like reminds me of Burn Notice. You know what I mean? It's like it gets kind of cheesy TV, and then all of a sudden a fight scene or something happens, and then it gets back to movie style. You know, so it's kind of a half between, and that's where my expectations kind of fall. It's halfway between crappy TV and great movies. You know,
I can give you like a really short, easy example of the sort of thing that I think that bothers me that I don't think bothers most people. So we had the Wakandans show up because they wanted to get Zemo. Zemo's up. We got to get him. Perfectly fine. The assumption you have is, well, if they're going to show up, presumably they want to take him to Wakanda for justice.
Yes, I agree.
That's
with
the
you.
assumption.
Yeah.
And what do? They let him escape to teach people a lesson. And then when they get him back, and they don't recapture him, someone else to recapture him for him, they take him to the raft, which is America, which is where John Walker was going to take him. So what the hell did you beat everyone up for? He was going to go back there anyway. Like it doesn't make any logical sense. And you realize they're just there for the fans to be like, it's Wakanda. Like it doesn't make any logical sense. And you could have done something like, what a conflict that is for Falcon if he can't let Zemo go to Wakanda because he needs him. Character development, drama. And instead they're like, back to the raft.
That Sam suit had too much white on it, says Reese. I think James agrees with you on that one. I thought it looked fine, to be honest. And DC Talk, they said this is Warner Brothers is pathetic. I think everyone agrees with you. Dan says, I watched the finale, really good, strong start, strong finish, bit wobbly in the middle. Agree with you on that. You messed up, Edward. Awaken the beast. Yes, Sassafras, you're right. There must always be a meme king. And James is the meme king.
Win-win situations. Win-win situations. Win-win situations.
One thing I was thinking about the Wakanda thing, especially in the finale, because that's where it showed that fucking Zemo's in the raft, and I was like, well, what's the point? Like,
well, Thunderbolt Ross is there, so they're going to set up Thunderbolts. So.
That's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point. And I'm like, well, why have the Wakandans come in the first place? I'm pretty sure. Like, let's be honest here. Would they really? I mean, I know he killed their king, but would that, like, I just don't know. Is that a big enough incentive for them to come and be like, we need him. We need to like make sure he's, because they would have done that to begin with, wouldn't they? They would have given him over to Wakanda before.
Yeah, if you remember the end of Civil War, T'Challa said, I'm not interested in revenge. It's a bad path. I don't want it. And so he surrenders them to the Americans. So it doesn't make sense on any level. It's just fan service. And that kind of thing drives me nuts because you could have done something interesting with it. instead of just having them show up and, you know, beat up poor old John Walker, who gets beat up by everybody.
Yeah, he really does.
And all they do is just do what he was going to do. They're like, no, you can't do it. We're going to do it. And they don't accomplish anything. And this kind of thing, like I said, you can, for me anyway, watching the show, I can imagine with the same actors, the same premise, the same plot, an amazing, like, top tier show. I was really hoping this would be right up there with the best Marvel Netflix shows, where you just want to, when you're done, you just want to go right back to episode 1 and just let's go through this ride again. And I was feeling that through the first episode. I know some people thought it was slow, but I like the
first episode.
I like slow character build-up. I like story build-up. I like to see choices and how they affect characters. So I was really dialed in. And then when I started to see, like, okay, they were given this, they had to do this, this, and this, and this, and they don't got a lot of time, and they're just let's go, and then reshoots, and you have this antagonist group that has like the weirdest goals, and their enemy, the GRC, nobody has a name. They're just suits. And then they need to be rescued. And then all of the Flag Smashers are dead. Isn't that convenient? And we can move on with our lives. And you're like,
you know,
I thought they might take Carly or something somehow and try and get her to be part, take her to the raft or something, you know, like,
make something.
You know, these are, they're super powered, you know, you might as well put,
Yeah, and, you know, one of the other things, I don't know if this occurred to you guys, but when they go after the GRC, I was like, don't the guards realize super strength doesn't mean immunity to bullets?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, nah, they're strong, can't handle it. And I just like, and I understand, you know, it's a comic book thing. Obviously, your heroes are not going to get randomly shot. It's like Star Wars and Stormtroopers, right? We understand that on a meta level, but you can always explain it in a better way. Maybe they arrange it so people have to, you can just show them making the guards give up their guns or whatever it is. And then you don't have to be worried about that as a flaw. And I think Clint might have been onto something, that the change to the show was so severe. They didn't have time for that. They're like, okay, we got a few weeks. How are we going to do this? And then we'll just hope that fans will just like, they'll create the narrative in their head to cover it up and it'll be fine. And just put the duct tape over. That's a great point. And so I have a lot more forgiveness, I would say, for the Flag Smasher plot, even though I think it's bad because of that. Other things, though, like the Wakandans, that's on the writer. Like, that doesn't have to be done that way. And so when it was announced that Spellman was going to write Captain America 4, I had a little crisis. And then I remembered the woman who wrote WandaVision wrote Black Widow, and they took her script, threw it out, and had it completely rewritten.
But that's the thing. It's like they announce these things, and then how much of Spellman is really how much of what he's going to do is really going to be in Captain America 4? Probably very little. I mean, and DC Talk with this saying, this is what's up, Edward, Peter, and James. One of the things I really do agree with you on many of the points there. And
that's true.
Wait until you realize Sam has to go to Wakanda if his tech ever messes up.
He sure does.
Yeah, he does, because he can't fix it himself. He'll probably learn. I don't know.
Maybe pretty good with tech, but they could have just left the Wakandas in as just that. You know what I mean? They could have just got them in for the tech and for the Bucky connection. But they had to go the Zemo thing, right? But I do agree that they didn't that's what Spooky Bats, that's what she wants me to call her now. That's what she was saying this morning when we were watching the show. Like, wait, didn't they take Zemo back to Wakanda? Like, no,
that was so,
no, they didn't.
Why would they take him to the raft? You know,
it doesn't make any sense.
That's where John Walker was taking him.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't make any sense that they take.
They would put him under the Wakandan prison, like underneath.
Yeah, and
it was kind of like a little bit of a hamada burger, you know.
Yeah.
What they were trying to do. Once they said, okay, we got a few subscribers,
Hamada burger. Brioche, toasted, hamada caramelized onion, crudité, lechuga, hamada burger, hamada spoon, salt, Burger flip. Time to put a bit more crust on the other side. I use these red Leicester slices. Very easy. Easy with you, you know. Get a glass of water. Splash. Cover. Done. Now we prepare the burger. Mayonnaise. Fuck. Ketchup. Lettuce. This is iceberg that I've shredded up with a knife. Tomatoes, little ones. 3. Season. Caramelized onions. Okay. Good. Okay.
Some real stinkers there that he was the executive producer of.
Hamada burger. Well, technically this isn't the Hamada burger. Technically this is just my burger, Freddie Lauder's burger.
Specifically, what I was told is that so this is a source to have almost all of the DC stuff over to be ours.
It has a nice weight to it. I can hold it in my hand. Indeed it is. Bon appetit, my friends. Hamada burger.
Clint, show us your official Hamada Burger
Holy
merchandise.
Oh yeah.
Edward, do you notice what Freddie's listening to in the back of that clip?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. He's listening to the show. It was last night's show he's listening to. And I'm pretty sure he was cooking that at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But Sassafras says he's man squeezing all the juices out of that burger. Dude, no, that's how you make a burger, man. You have to squeeze the patty. It has to be quite thin if you've ever had a good one. But no, honestly, Freddie is a very good cook. So his burgers are incredible. He's got to start Freddy's Burgers ASAP. JLS Comics says, "What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Did this turn into a cooking?
Hamada burger. Hamada burger. Hamada spoon."
I think my favorite bit of that clip is Hamada spoon. The Hamada spoon. Bring out the Hamada spoon. I've also noticed that every time we put that clip on, we lose viewers.
Harsh.
Losing more viewers. We lost one viewer there. No, but I think we will talk about Hamada in a bit. But what there is, and Sil says, "Awesome, Freddie." I think everyone, when we eventually do some sort of, when we can go places and do, I don't know, something somewhere at a Comic-Con event or something, we should get Freddie to cook for us. I think that'll be fun. Apparently, we've lost access to our Facebook account. That's brilliant. Anyway. That doesn't matter. No one's watching on Facebook. Everyone's on YouTube. So I think
we got one angry emoji off Facebook. Thank you, really? Jamar. We appreciate it.
Someone doesn't like us over on Facebook. So we're just
Clint to have help over him.
He always does weird shit like that. He's just, I can tell when he's doing something weird. He's looking down and he's not paying attention.
Oh, I'm listening.
That's fine.
I'm just arming myself for the saxophone clip. That's all.
I think what I want to know, what I wanted to know from you guys is, what do you think this show will mean for the future of the MCU, if anything? Do you think there'll be anything that's happened in this show that will have any effect on the future of the MCU?
Do you mean specific events or just what the results of it are?
Yeah, the result. I mean, to be honest, the main event, I think, is, for me personally, there are two: is Sharon Carter and the Raft. I think they're the two main events. They're obviously trying to kind of make Sharon Carter a villain now, which is like, I mean, it's kind of goes against her character, to be honest.
Completely,
yeah. It's like they're like, oh,
we don't try to explain it at all, really.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she was in Madripoor or whatever, like, yeah, so she became evil.
Well, they didn't give her a pardon. I was like, why in that? If they're giving Bucky a pardon, why the hell wouldn't Sharon Carter get a pardon? Falcon got a. It's really bizarre. And I thought they were trying to, maybe Clint will agree with me, I thought they were trying to imply, because for no reason she was denied a pardon, that's what made her evil. But I wish, if that's what they wanted to go with, they'd given us a reason for why.
They're gonna have to elaborate on that, like maybe hypothetically speaking, her mom was sick and she couldn't get back into the country, and her mom died and she wasn't there for her. Now I'm really pissed, and that's why I'm so or something like that. Where
Does she seem angry to you though?
No,
not
just
really.
seems green.
Yeah, like she seems like she was maybe originally supposed to be a government operative or something. You know what I mean? Like to me, it seemed like she was playing a role, not actually a villain.
It's a really confusing performance.
Yeah.
I really did, yeah. And there's so much stuff with Sharon's character, Sharon Carter's character in the MCU. First off, she kisses Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers was with her auntie, right? Great aunt is
great aunt. Yeah.
Great aunt. That's weird. And then they go and pull this stunt with her character. It's like, dude, do you just not like her?
Admittedly, that was Marvel not thinking about the aunt thing or the great aunt thing, because Sharon Carter is usually Steve Rogers' romance in the comics. So they're like, well, it's how it is in the comics. We're not going to worry about the association, and fans hated it for that reason. So they're like, well, I guess we can't do that. So they moved away from it. But I think that meant they didn't really know what to do with the character. And this show to me says they don't really know what to do with the character, because why is she evil? Like, if she's a Skrull, even though that's kind of goofy, you can say, oh, okay, well, she's a Skrull, so it's fine. But if she's just herself, you'd think they put more effort into explaining it to the fans, because I found it baffling. And then when she's offered the pardon too, which she accepts, but she's still evil, you're like, wait, but what's her investment in this? Is it just money? I don't know.
She's like, I think the end of it is so, like, the kind of post-credit scene with her is so Dr. Evil. It's like, now we have access to everything. I really did think, oh god, that did leave a bit of a nasty taste in my mouth. I'm going to be honest. That last bit with I think Sharon Carter for me has been the whole problem with the. I feel bad saying that, because I really think the character deserves more. So I wonder whether they are just going to make her a Skrull. No, but actually, no,
I would agree with you on her. Definitely, Peter. They have to. They have to make something that gives her a motivation, because it is a super weak motive. I mean, you're pissed because you got kicked out of your country, and I couldn't go back for years. But I don't even think it was that long, that she was out, and then all of a sudden she's amassed a huge fortune and is a diabolical criminal genius. You know what I mean?
The writers, this is pretty clear. The writers forgot that she's shown as snapped in Endgame. So you're talking about someone who spent 6 months in Madripoor and became completely evil, and that does not make much sense. But clearly, the writer thought she was alive that whole time. Very clearly,
that's exactly what happened.
I didn't even know. I just assumed she was alive.
No, it's they show a montage of images in Endgame, and her face is in there.
Oh,
but did we see her get snapped though?
No, but they don't. A lot of the characters who got snapped, they didn't show.
But was she on the monitors? Is that what you're talking about?
The monitors where you see.
But she could have just went to Madripoor instead of, because she went off the grid.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of being snapped, they could have thought that she was snapped, but instead she went off the grid to Madripoor and reinvented herself.
That would be an explanation that they could use, and that's a better explanation. I do think that we have to keep in mind Marvel does pay attention to how people react to things. And I think the confusion and bafflement over this one is going to have them react to it, to either give James's explanation. Well, you need more than that, too. That just gives her time, not a motive, really.
It's 5 years.
5 years. But again, why on earth wouldn't she get a pardon? You'd need all hands on deck. I mean, Black Widow is running things. She's not going to give a pardon to her buddy Sharon Carter. Like,
she got exiled after Civil War.
By who? By
the government. Yeah. That's when Black Widow said "F you" to the government, right?
I agree, but Infinity War is pretty shortly after that, and then you have the little Scooby Gang who's running everything. Why wouldn't they give her the pardon if she asked for one?
Because she disappeared and went off the grid.
But why?
Because she's pissed off at her government that she dedicated her life to, that her aunt dedicated her life to.
She's a Skrull,
and how they treated Captain America. And yeah, and she could probably be a Skrull at that time. However,
the Skrull explanation, I think, is the strongest one. I think any other explanation is just going to create an argument among fans about.
Well, they
whether
never said she got snapped, so you're wrong, Peter.
What's that?
They said she never got snapped. They never showed it. They never said, so you're wrong.
I was going to say I've seen it, but I mean, you can certainly retcon and remove her picture. Yeah, she's the.
I mean, no, you saw it on the monitor, but you didn't see it happen. Like you're seeing you're seeing characters assuming that she got snapped.
No, you're absolutely right. They thought Ant-Man was gone too, and he was in the quantum realm. But being in the being in the quantum realm is a little different than just being a Madripoor. But yeah, I mean, there are ways to explain it other than she's a Skrull. But I hope we get something better than what we got here for that.
Yeah, they assumed she was snapped because she went off the grid, and she's so good at hiding that she just disappeared for 5 years. That's why.
Yeah,
and she's bitter because she disappeared for 5 years. Wait,
and she never managed. She never managed.
Yeah.
She never managed to buy a new phone. She still got that shitty HTC phone.
That's why she was pissed. Yes, exactly.
That's what it is. It's the phone. Yeah.
The Sax God says you guys clearly don't like spy stories because it's not that difficult to justify motivations. So yeah, I suppose you're right. In a way, in a spy world, like people are backstabbing everybody all the time. But I don't know. It's just it's more. We're talking more about her as a character.
Yeah, one who's already been established. That's the problem with that. If she was a new character, you'd be all set because we would have just been introduced to her and like, okay, so her character arc is I'm a bad person who's all about greed. I don't care who dies, and you can be like, okay, that's who that character is, no problem. But you already have her set up as a good guy in both Winter Soldier and Civil War, so you have continuity. So you need a better explanation than she just turned bad. And I think James is doing his best to like fill in the gaps. But for me, it just doesn't ring very true. Like I need to see more than just a little speech she has in the episode 2 or 3, whenever they go to Madripoor. And I'm like, come on. I mean, if at heart you're a good person for 30, 35 years, and then just this one thing, and you've decided to go underground, and you're like, oh, the government, I need to be rich.
She lost Steve right after that happened, right? Yeah. And the world went to hell. And she had to remold herself to survive.
I think if we heard anything like that from her, maybe.
But we did, but she was keeping things pretty close to the chest because she was also the power broker at the same time.
I feel like James is bringing a lot to the narrative that isn't there.
No, you're the one that brought up that she was snapped, and that's what's got me all going with my gears turning here, because we didn't see her get snapped. They just assumed
you just saw her image.
Yeah,
but I mean,
therefore you got 5 years and you got 6 months, 5 years and 6 months of whatever Sharon Carter was doing, and in that time she set herself up as a power player in Madripoor in this criminal city.
Even then, she could have got like captured by somebody and then got beaten and tortured for a long time and got no help from the United States. And then finally she escaped and then killed all of them. And then after all that, she
doesn't seem bitter or resentful at all.
Yeah.
She's just greedy.
See, that's
she's got so
writing
much
the narrative.
Rage because she was made to wear not stylish clothes and use an HTC phone, and then there's a motivation. But yeah, I agree with you, Peter. There's not a very good motivation on.
And if it's a principal decision too, she would have rejected the pardon as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she wants to be part. She wants to be part of it also.
But she probably slipped through the cracks because the governments were in so much chaos, and there was, like they said, no borders too. Right?
Yeah. Can I ask one question?
She accepted the pardon because she wants to make them pay.
Yeah. Can I ask one question? Who is the senator that's so powerful?
He was the guy that they wanted to get from. I don't know if you ever watched Mr. Robot, but he was the head of E Corp, and they couldn't get that actor, so they got someone that looked like him to play him and sound like him. That's exactly who that character is.
Because I was thinking, there's no senator in the world would have that much power. Like in America, especially, it wouldn't be Mr. Nope. So who the hell are you? So why am I talking to this guy? Why not I don't know, the president of the United States, possibly?
How many senators they left after the snap?
Sorry.
And how many senators were left after the snap?
Yeah, he's probably the only one.
What's that?
He was probably the only one left.
Well, yeah,
right.
But
The odds
like
would be
half
50.
of them. But
Yeah.
what form of government was left? And it's not hard for a senator when they form a committee or an organization like the GRC to be the head of it for that country, or to, there's three powerful players. It wasn't just him. Yeah, he was the only senator, but there was other head figures from different countries.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he had a lot of power.
He was an idiot.
Yeah, because they couldn't get the guy from Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Did he have a name? I can't remember if he
I
actually had.
can't.
I don't think anyone in the GRC had a name.
No, they're just
Which
like
is a bad idea.
They're suits. That's all they are. They're suits. They don't
Yeah,
understand
very
anything.
nameless.
Yeah, and then
I wonder if that will.
Robot. Go to my channel and watch ending of Silicon Valley Explained. You'll love it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Here's a question for you, Edward. Are we ever going to see the GRC again?
No, I don't think. So.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think there's any point. There's no point. It's like the whole usefulness is gone now. It's like, well, they're not even useful. But the whole reason to have them was really for the flag smashers, wasn't it? And now the flag smashers aren't going to be a thing anymore, are
They're
they?
all dead.
Well, apart from that one, okay. So the last bit where apparently Baron Zemo gets his revenge, right, where he kills the remaining super soldiers apart from Bucky, is that bit with the van where the guy says one world, one whatever the one was it one
One people, something like that.
yeah, one. It doesn't really make any sense. One world, one people. Okay, and then closes the thing, and then the thing explodes. So, what I'm thinking, was he part of the Flag Smashers, or was he part of Baron Zemo's crew? Was he the one that helped blow up? I was a bit like, I don't get this scene.
I think it was a tease. It was supposed to make them say, "Oh, we're going to get out of this," and then boom! Not if Zemo can help it, you know.
I think Alfred in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Alfred in the car. I was gonna say, I think it was the MCU saying you're never gonna see these people ever again. Say goodbye. Go away. Just again, so that movie viewers don't have to worry about it. You know, I think the main thing the show was trying to accomplish was Bucky's fine now, Falcon is Cap, Sharon bad. I don't think anything else. Oh, and Walker is U.S. agent. I think that was about it. And everything else they just wanted tied up and don't worry about it.
And Elaine, I wonder if Elaine's going to pop up. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'd like to see a bit more of Bucky and Sam's sister. I think that was an interesting plot line that they were starting up there. That would have been fun.
Did you like that?
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I was pretty indifferent to it. If they want to do something with it, maybe. But I mean, what is Bucky really going to have in common with her?
Yeah, I was in Wakanda for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what. To be honest, I think, and people are asking about season 2. I don't think there'll be a season 2. I think this will
not with a movie. No.
Yeah, I think this will lead into Captain America 4.
Yep.
I mean, but that'll be Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2. Now that they've revealed that that the showrunner is going to be doing it, I think that's what
writing
they're doing. Yeah, he's writing it. Yeah.
If anything, that leads up to a little, maybe a possibility for humor later, where they're like, "Yeah, hey, how's your sister doing?" or something. I'm like, "Hey, man, don't be talking about my sister."
There'll be so much of that. Yeah.
That could be. Here's a question for either of you guys, because I don't know. What story will they do? I don't know any of Sam Wilson's Captain America stories.
I don't either.
No.
I mean, it's probably a good opportunity though to come up with something new. No, for Marvel,
an original story. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Anthony Mackie as Sam, and I like the two of them together. I think they work well together, Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie.
Sebastian Stan's great.
Yeah, and I have to say, Sebastian Stan is just so good looking. So, which I'm like, wow.
He's starting to get more personality too, which is cool because he's
he's less like.
Well, he's allowed to, right? You know, in the other movies, he's still under conditioning. So you see a little bit of that in the first Captain America before he's effective, but he only has, I think, 10 minutes of screen time in that, so not a lot of time. Captain America 4, the boat.
Yeah, Danzig says, I'd like to see more of the boat, said no one. But I suppose ultimately this has been all right. Let's say like the show's been pretty good, not spectacular. I think Loki might be the first one that's genuinely like different. I'm hoping anyway, because as it stands, these shows, both WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, they've been good. They haven't been brilliant.
Nope.
Neither of them. They've both had issues, and I think a lot of the issues for this one in particular probably stems actually from the pandemic. Like the original the original plotline was thrown out because of the pandemic, which is a huge.
I think that's most of it. I do think there are some inherent problems with some writing decisions, but I do think overall it would have been better if they just left it alone with the original plot. Hi, Batroc.
I'm just gonna say, Peter, careful where your head is.
hold your breath, man. Hold your breath.
Have an awkward bowel movement there. I got to admit.
There you go.
Oh no!
There you go.
Wow,
that's even worse.
Oh man. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And JLS Comics says that they both didn't quite stick the landing, but that's partly the fault of fan hype, which is true as well. Fan hype, especially with WandaVision. I think more WandaVision than than
you
Falcon
can see that in social media graphs. If you go, you can have fun, go on Google Trends, and you'll see WandaVision is about double Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the mystery box thing. Unless you pull it off, it just bugs people.
No one pulls it off.
No, I know, but you got to leave the theoretical possibility that someday someone will make it work. Probably, but when it doesn't, it's like when they were teasing the cameo from season 5. Everyone was just talking about Ralph Boner. No one took it seriously.
Part of that, it's what makes it fun though. While you're going through it, the anticipation, the going on to channels like this and listening to theories, learning and all that. That's what makes it fun. And then it turns into like the end of Game of Thrones at the end. They're like, damn it, that's not what I wanted. And everybody gets pissed about it. You know what I mean?
Game of Thrones is another thing. Like Game of Thrones was just, they shat the bed on that one.
Absolutely, but that's an example. But y'all get what I'm talking about when I can use that example and everybody understands. You know what I mean? And it's the disappointment.
Ooh, that's a cool idea.
What's that?
Serpent Society. I don't know if you can see that.
I see it now. I was in Rant World.
No, but you raised. I'm actually glad you brought up Game of Thrones, right? Because the problem with that show isn't performances or the look; it's the writing. And to me, that's been the weird thing about both Marvel shows, where the writing has been inconsistent. You know, the movies are so well vetted. It was weird to see unnecessary mistakes just in story logic and whatnot. And so I hope Loki is as good as I'd like it to be, and that we can just get away. Because if it's just coherent, I can put up with a lot. I just don't want to have to be scratching my head as we get into the plot. And probably, I'm guessing Loki might be kind of episodic with him bouncing around.
Yeah, it will be.
That makes writing much easier because you're not worried about episode to episode.
Like the through line. Like, the overall through line,
It scares me, though, because of Legends of Tomorrow. That show, it gives me diarrhea. Like Legends of Tomorrow. It's like this week we're gonna have the 60s and let's all get bell bottoms, and then like next week we're gonna do the Civil War, and like all right now, and next week it's the future. Everybody gets silver pants, and I'm like, come on, man. Like I hope they don't do that with Loki, because I'll have to buy a new TV. I'll throw the remote right through the TV.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It can be bad too. Yeah.
But I think one thing we can love Falcon and Winter Soldier for is that Zemo dance.
Well, they're another great actor, though, right? You put someone who's got acting chops like that, and they will bring to life whatever you give them. And so, Zemo was great. I think everyone wanted more Zemo in that show.
I think everyone wants more Zemo in the MCU. So this is why I think the Thunderbolts is probably going to be a really big deal, like moving forward. It hasn't officially been announced yet, but it really does seem as though they're going there, and that's something they want to do. And I suppose She-Hulk probably might introduce some of the stuff involved in there. Maybe some of the characters.
The Abomination. The Abomination is on the raft, and he's in that show.
Yeah, he's in that show.
One thing
I think we'll.
Sorry.
Cocainum.
I saw that reaction, Edward.
That's my favorite clip.
It's Kaz. It's Kaz. You got to give him his cocaine.
It's a great clip. I was gonna say one good thing for sure that came out of Falcon and Winter Soldier is now I know Wyatt Russell can act, so I can look forward to you. Well, I hadn't seen him in it. I knew he was a hockey player. That was my association for Wyatt Russell. So knowing that he can pull off John Walker is encouraging for the Thunderbolts because that's presumably where he's going.
What was he in before this? Because he actually auditioned to be Captain America. Did you know that before?
No, I did not know that.
He was one of the people that got quite close to being Captain America in the first place. It was him. There was John Krasinski was the other one.
John Krasinski.
They got very close. And the thing I knew Wyatt Russell for was the fact that he was Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son.
Famous parents. Yeah. But I was a little worried that he got the role because hey, you know who my parents are, and that he was going to actually like imagine if he was portrayed like the original, what is it, Nuke? I forget who in the comics is originally Captain America, but an actual psychopath. And I thought, okay, well, you don't need an actor for that. It's just some guy freaking out. And I was really happy with his performance. So I'm actually excited to see more of him. And I didn't know that until I saw the show. So I was quite pleased with that.
And JLS says he was in Overlord. He was in Overlord, and he's brilliant in that movie. That film is a very good film. I liked it a lot. Okay. But I actually think he's in one episode of Black Mirror as well. I think he was Goon 2. Thank
These
you
guys know all of them.
22 Jump Street, Black Mirror,
Jump Street,
Lodge 49, Walking Dead.
Someone's on IMDb.
Dude, I can do this all day.
Yeah, that's what Freddie says. Nazi zombies. That's basically what Overlord is. It's just not.
Hamada.
But I actually think he's one of the best parts of the show. I think John Walker is one of the most interesting characters. His performance is brilliant, and I want to see more of him as U.S. agent. The suit looks better in black.
Yes,
it does look badass.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Daniel Bruhl was fantastic. Like I'm glad that they gave a little life to Zemo because now I really want to see him in the future. Like he was one of my favorites for sure.
And Tivo is in the chat and he says, "Does Peter even watch movies?"
Not many, Tivo. Not many. Not in the last 20 years or so. Very few.
I forgive Peter for not knowing all the films that Wyatt Russell was in before this, because let's be honest, they're all relatively small films.
The title's not Ion Entertainment. It's very specific.
I think we've talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier a lot. We have got 3 things to talk about. So the Falcon and Winter Soldier is one of them. The other is Invincible.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Pictures there.
Oh, dude. So have you both watched it? I think you haven't, Peter. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, and you're not. So it's going to be Clint and me talking about this, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic show. It's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun.
All right. Well, have you watched it, James?
Yeah. I've also read the series like once a year.
And so you're a big fan of this of the it's the Robert Kirkman series, right?
I'm prepared.
You're prepared.
Yeah.
Okay. I sense a rant coming.
No. Go ahead.
So this is the 7th episode was released today, and this show is getting really good, as far as I'm concerned. Really. Okay. So if you haven't watched it, spoilers. We are going to. So it's about this dude. He's called Mark Grayson, and he is a superhero. He calls himself Invincible. His dad is Omni-Man, who is basically Superman, but evil.
And he's voiced by Steven Yeun.
Mark is voiced by Steven Yeun, and Omni-Man is voiced by J.K. Simmons. And I have to say, first off, this it's got ridiculous voice cast. Here you've got first off Stephen Yeun, J.K. Simmons, Mark Hamill's in there too. Walton Goggins is in there as well. You got the cast list is just insane. It's brilliant. One of the show has been kind of going along, and it's kind of I think there's a bit of shock value to this show. It's animated. I actually watched. I don't know if you did. James, I watched the animators react video that came out recently about specifically one of them they were talking about Invincible, and they said it's not very well animated.
I've touched on this before. Some scenes are animated very well, but a lot of the time they use tweening, which is basically you guys know all what tweening is. It's basically taking an image from point A to point B and stretching it or shrinking it or whatever, and they used a lot to get away with the cost savings. Instead of like back in the 70s and 80s, they go through same animation cells and back and forth through the hallways and stuff. But it kind of irked me in the first couple episodes, but it's grown on me. And I let it takes me out of the moment, but I let it slide because they do a lot of the hand-drawn animation. I think they could have got a better animated studio, to be honest with you. I don't know which, I have to look into which ones they used overseas, because I think it's obviously overseas. But I think they should have went with the American company that did the end couple seasons of Batman the Animated Series. That would have been really good, and they would have been able to adapt Cory Booker's art style that's based off the comic book on that. So the animation is a bit janky, but it's serviceable, and it just takes you out a little bit, right?
But this show isn't really about the animation.
Well, no, it's about the voice cast and the story. Like they spent a lot of budget on the voice cast, and everyone was available because of the pandemic too. So
and actually, I have heard that there is actually limited budget for this show. So Amazon hasn't given the show it's on Amazon Prime. So Amazon hasn't given the show as much as I think they wanted to begin with, and they didn't really have much time to do a lot of the animation. So there is a reason why it's animated the way it is, and that's
not
it.
Horrible. I mean, it's not even bad. It's just
it's not.
You just want that fluid, that continuity between the animation cells and the scenes, and or they could have cheated a bit more with more like what anime does with the static, and use that kind of tweening instead of always using tweening for flying, or for instance, this episode. When Omni-Man is finished fighting the Cthulhu creature, and then Mark's like, "What's going on, Dad?" And then you see him come towards the camera. That's an obvious tween, and it just took me right out of that moment. They could have just animated it's 2 seconds, it's 60 frames. It's not bad.
I kind of like the crappy animation. It reminds me of cartoons when I was a kid. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun, like I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not like our childhood cartoons though, because this is computer generated tweening. Right? Like if they actually took the frame, and this is me getting all animation nerd, this is what I wanted to be like before I got into film, but if they took the actual frame on the celluloid and moved it as a tween, that would have been a different story, because that has a different effect on your eyes and your brain, how it registers. But animated, you can, because it's got the parallax effect, plus it compresses all the line art too. Like if you notice, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but like they'll have the main shot, the wide shot, and then they'll go in, and then those lines are very small around the characters, and then they'll go in closer and they're a bit thicker, and they'll go in closer and they're even more thicker. And sometimes you get away with that if you plan it properly, but it's just like they animated this in Flash and didn't compensate for that, and you can really tell. So that's what I get what you're saying about the childhood cartoons and everything. Like that animation that I can get on board, and I can feel nostalgic for, and I can understand because there's a craft to that. But this is just like time-saving, budget-saving techniques where they could have gone with that other company did at the end of Batman the Animated Series for the last couple seasons, and use that technology to actually enhance it, which they do a few times, like with the blood splatter and the explosions. But just smile and nod, boys. How do you guys feel when someone else rants and you guys don't get a chance to say anything?
I like it. I'll give you get an air horn, man.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No, but you are completely right. Like, this is an animated show, so the animation is very important to the show. But for me, it's more, I'm just really enjoying the story. And it's different. They did change it from the comics. The comics is a bit it's actually, in a way, one of the things I noticed when I was reading the comics is Invincible is actually a lot stronger in the actual comics. He gets beaten up a heck of a lot in this show. Like, he almost, like, literally, I don't know how the hell he's still alive, because he almost dies at one point. And
well, he did in the comics too.
Yeah, but I got
in the comics. It's just
yes,
they're accelerating the timeline of events in the series more so than the comics did. Like, Robert Kirkman dragged it out for like 30, 60 issues. Like, where we are now, I think that's at least 60 issues.
Yeah,
reading the comics. Have you read them all, or you said you just started?
I'm on the omnibus, the first one.
Okay,
so,
all
yeah.
right. So
I didn't read these comics, but the storytelling is good storytelling. It's not like what you expect. There's always something that you don't expect, and it's so well acted. Like the all the actors they have on board are fantastic. Like, hey, here's Clint with a super positive review. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
Clint, here's the thing: is like, I'm just responding to what Edward's saying, but
my
overall impression of the series, I'm ecstatic that it exists.
Yeah,
that it got made with this voice cast. The animation is great. Besides those moments that take me out of it, but and accelerating it, the timeline is super smart, because in the comics, Clint, we don't know that Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe right away.
Right.
They told us in the first episode of the series. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant, because those are technically spoilers if they didn't show it, and it would be out online, and then it would have lost a lot of the air out of the balloon, right?
Right.
I give this series 9.5 out of 10. How they're doing it, I think the pacing is perfect. Besides a little bit of the animation stuff, the voice cast is amazing, and like, they really nailed that. And I can't wait for more, and it's going to be depressing. I don't know how many episodes are in the season, but it's just going to be really depressing to me when the season ends, and then I got to wait for more. I know what's coming, and Clint, if you like that, if you like the fact that they don't have, you don't know what's going to happen next, and they're always keeping you on your toes, you just wait, man. You just wait until you can experience this. Just go read the comics if you have time. But man, it's just going to be absolutely. It's been great so far, and it's going to be so amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. We have one more episode to this season, from what I understand.
So we're not gonna, and
I could almost, if I wasn't gonna lose the fighting and the fun stuff, I could almost watch this show with my eyes closed and just listen to it. The performances are so good.
That's what my girlfriend does. Yeah, she's like, I'm not big on the animated violence or whatever, but I really like the storyline. So she just listens to it when I watch it. Yeah.
But I mean, should we talk a bit about what happens in the episode, or do you not want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well,
for everyone to mute it, the video.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, one of the big things that happens in this episode is the fact that is it Cecil? Cecil is his name. So he's the guy that's basically in charge of this whole superhero shebang.
Okay. Do you hear Walter Goggins' voice when you read the comics?
No.
No way.
No.
It wasn't until this episode that I was like, okay, now he's sold me on Cecil.
Yeah. But I think he is brilliant in this episode. Like, his character, it's really fascinating, because basically we're getting to the point now where Mark's and Omni-Man's wife knows what Omni-Man did. So he killed the Guardians of the Globe. She found that out in the last episode. And now she's with Cecil, and their whole idea. Cecil's like, the only way we can stop Omni-Man is if we have Mark, because Mark is I can't remember the name of the race, the alien race.
Viltrumites.
Viltrumites. That's it. And I will say, there's someone in the Reese said something that's quite. Right, Cecil said Invincible is the only person who could beat Omni-Man. We haven't seen anything that puts Mark on that level, and that's true. We haven't, honestly, for me, I forget the character's name.
He could only be half, because he's only half. Yeah, he's half human. He's half human, so maybe he's not as strong.
I'm pretty sure there's something that's going to come out about that, and how actually that probably makes him stronger in a weird way. I don't know. Only James will know what's coming up. But
I want to say something, but I don't want to spoil it for you. But I'll just keep quiet. Go
and
ahead.
then I mean, part of the whole, like for me especially, the whole like question behind this series is, why did Omni-Man do what he did? And this episode really kind of seems to indicate that there is a reason why he killed all the Guardians of the Globe. I always want to say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
And then one of I can't remember his name, but one of the Guardians of the Globe comes back in this episode, and that's that moment.
The Immortal.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. That whole fight sequence was incredible. I think again unfortunately he dies.
Are you up to that point in the comics?
That's the point I'm up to. Yeah.
Did you read? So you've read to the end of that where he cuts
not
him in
yet.
half?
Not yet.
It's like panel by panel, man. He's through the guts and then chops him off with the arm there halfway through. It is panel to panel.
But oh man, it's very gory in the show as well. Like that whole sequence is, but it's just that there's something that like that. I don't know, like. And then there's obviously something going on with robots in this episode as well, where you actually find out more about him, which is really fascinating. He's basically not a robot. I don't know what he is. Is he a human?
He's a human.
He's a human, just really intelligent, like a weird blob baby thing.
I think he was just born disabled and without, what we have. And then he created that pod for himself and then finally cloned because he fell in love with Monster Girl.
And that's he's in love with that, and that's gives you a reason why Robot's been so obsessed with Monster Girl this whole time, is because he's in love with her. It's kind of fucked up. This whole show is so fucked up. It's kind of when you go. I went from Falcon and Winter Soldier to this, and it's a big change.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, just to put you on the same page, Monster Girl is kind of like the Hulk. And every time she changes to the Hulk and she goes back, she gets younger. So at this point, she's actually like 28 or something, but she looks like a 14-year-old girl. So so you're dealing with an adult personality in a little kid's body, and for this other guy to be falling in love with the little girl is kind of creepy. But technically, she's a 28-year-old, so it's kind of weird.
Well,
it's really
she's like 30 years old and he's like 30 or 40 years old, and they both have kid bodies. So
it's a mind fuck.
My favorite, I really like Adam Eve.
Not that far from Sharon Carter kissing Captain America, and that was
it's not too
I think it's a little far removed.
I really like Adam Eve. And if she can manipulate matter,
just wait, man.
Yeah, but she can manipulate matter. Why can't she go after Omni-Man? You know what I mean? Like,
no one can go after Omni-Man.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, no, Clint has a good point, and that's
you can reconstruct his atoms.
Yeah, these are just teenagers out of high school that haven't reached their full potential too, right? Like Adam Eve was like, she just realized that she could go off and change a whole bunch of stuff in the world. So she went and did that. Before that, she spent 3 years, like she said, with the Team Teens or the Teen Team or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Teen Titans.
Yeah. Guardians of the Globe and Teen Teams.
Well, that's what Invincible is basically, it's not a spoof on superhero comics of DC and Marvel. It's basically if Robert Kirkman, he'd write it in a realistic kind of way in today's society, or when Invincible came out.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think the violence on the show is as graphic as a lot of people say. I think it's more violent in the comic book and in the certain panels. But they do really well and pay a lot of justice towards how it's all set up and how visceral it is.
I think that I mean, people are comparing it to a lot of things and saying it's like a mixture of this and really, The Boys, I think, is very much in this area, isn't it? It's like it's very similar to The Boys.
Yeah, but The Boys is more gross factor, more humor, shock value, and I think Invincible is its own beast, right?
Yeah, what's interesting is I heard that they're going to do a live version of this show too.
Yes,
later down the road. And Seth Rogen is involved in The Boys and Invincible, and he's going to be involved in that too. So like producing and stuff. So it's a pretty interesting path Seth Rogen's going down with these alternative comics.
Yeah, he's basically going through his fanboy what he loves, and he's like, I got money now and I got some power, so I can produce, like he loves Garth Ennis, so, and he went with The Boys, and now and he did Preacher before that, another Garth Ennis thing, and he loves Robert Kirkman, right? So he got on board with that.
Yeah,
and the AMC connection probably helped too when with the Preacher.
And I have a lot of faith in his vision on things and his putting stuff out. After The Boys is a great show. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome.
And Preacher was really good, and Invincible's been really good so far. So everything he's been involved with, producing wise, has been really good, especially in the kind of comic book.
But Seth Rogen didn't produce this animated series; he's just producing the live action.
He's producing the live action one. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who produced this one actually. I'm not.
Robert Kirkman.
Was it Robert Kirkman?
Yeah.
So I mean, who know? I mean, honestly, who knows what they do with Invincible, the live action version? That will be kind of disgusting. Seeing, I mean, that you have a kind of that because it's animated and a comic book, you can kind of take a step back. But live action is going to be very different. One of the things about The Boys that you said it's shock value, but I think that will end up happening in Invincible, the live action version as well.
I think what we're gonna see in the live action will be like the end scene of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Every time we see an action scene in Invincible, it'll be like that with like Brad Pitt throwing that girl into the phone and stuff. So
like really gross.
Creature was really good. If you read the books, they did justice to the main bald bad guy. Yeah, really, he had his own episode. It was really good. Cassidy is a bit different than what it's portrayed in the comics, but I think you'll like it. So definitely go give it a watch.
They've done. So I think from the three of us, at least, who've seen it, we have enjoyed Invincible, and because Pete just does Marvel stuff. No, I'm joking. He's like, no, I'm not going to watch
it anymore.
I really do recommend it, Peter. If you can watch it, if you have got Amazon Prime, do watch it because it is very good. And it's a bit gross, but it is really good.
It's very easy to watch, though. I was like, let's see what this show is. And then before I knew it, I was like, what? I got to wait. Like, I want to see more.
Yeah.
Really good.
And I think, actually, let's go back to Falcon and Winter Soldier for a minute, talking about binging and episodes. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier would have worked a lot well if they did 2 episodes at once, and just every week for 3 weeks. I think that would have been better, especially for the last 2 episodes.
Or did the first? I was gonna say, or did the first 3 like WandaVision, just bam, 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 and then write it out.
But then you lose the whole opening the case moment of the costume with Sam, and then a week goes by, and then boom, he appears in a window in this new costume. You're like, oh yeah, that happened. Even though it shows you in the recap, you do lose that kind of power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Edward.
I think the reason they didn't they released it weekly is because now all the streaming services are doing this because they realize if they release things weekly, it extends buzz.
It's viewer engagement too,
and viewer engagement, but numbers as well. The Boys season 2 went up 100% over season 1, and they released that weekly. It's that's the reason why. It's because they released it
for
weekly.
Subscriber numbers too. You don't just watch the show and then say, okay, I'm out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have been looking at small screen at all, like we were told that Netflix is going to adopt that model as well, moving forward with their original shows. So it's something that they're all doing now. Yeah, I know people are pissed off about it, but it makes sense.
I like it.
It does make sense. Though.
Economically, it makes a lot of sense, but as a viewer, I never liked the weekly format. It's really irritating. But yeah, I as soon as there was competition for Netflix, I knew this was inevitable.
Yeah.
Because to maintain your subscriber base, you can't just drop your big show and then you've got nothing for a month or 2. People will leave.
Yeah, exactly. And Netflix has been seeing that already in Q1 of this year. They've been seeing people leave the streaming service.
Well, there's so many different services out there.
Yeah,
Netflix used to be the one place you would go, and now you can find good content all over the place. So
you used to be able to replace your cable bill of $90 for like $18 on Netflix, but now you get all these different streaming services, and you're paying the same price.
Yeah.
George Lucas called it. He called it in the 90s.
like everything else.
Do you guys actually subscribe to everything though? I subscribe to 2.
I subscribe to 3: Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon. But Amazon Prime I just got because of Amazon Prime. So
it's, that's me too. And then Crave because Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I've had Netflix like it's like my car insurance. Like I'm always gonna have those like my car insurance and Netflix. I've had Netflix for 12 years. But I've got HBO Max, Amazon Prime, CBS or Paramount Plus.
You got Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
Wow.
I gotta watch.
Wow.
Dude, I gotta watch Star Trek. And then
you poor soul.
yeah, I mean, I have to see
Don't
it.
bring up Discovery, please.
Yeah. I got Disney Plus. And are there any more streaming? I don't have Hulu. That's the only one.
I have got another one. Is Apple TV Plus.
I don't have that one.
That one is because I got this Mac that crashed on me tonight, and it comes with a year subscription. I would not subscribe to that otherwise. It's not a very good streaming service.
No.
Paramount.
Go ahead, Edward.
Yeah, Paramount Plus, mate. You need to get rid of that.
Yeah. I mean, for the price of
you haven't got Peacock. That's the other
no,
one.
I don't have Peacock. I don't have Quibi. What else? I think Quibi went under. Yeah, I mean, I used to go to the movies all the time, several times a week too, and that's how I can rationalize it. I'm like, it's a trip to the movies. How many episodes? I'm gonna watch Star Trek, whether it sucks or it's awesome. I'm gonna watch it. I have to see it just to see and be hopeful. Woo. So
who's the guy in charge of Star Trek now that people hate?
Kurtzman.
Is it Kurtzman?
Bad Robot and Kurtzman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we're in for a treat, aren't we? At DC.
Well, Clint, really quickly, what do you think of Discovery season 1? You're a big Star Trek fan. You grew up.
I like Jason Isaacs.
Next Generation.
I
like Jason Isaacs.
When I was a kid, I'm still a huge Star Wars fan, but I was always like Star Wars, Star Trek sucks. But I did like the old movies like The Wrath of Khan and stuff like that. But this TV show seemed old when I was a kid. It just seemed old and boring to me.
Except that Gorn episode.
Except what?
Where he fights the lizard creature and makes it canon.
The Tribbles. Is that what they're called? Tribbles? Yeah, those were good. That was probably my favorite as a kid, and so I didn't care. But then once they started doing the movies, I liked that. When the Next Generation came out, I fell in love with Star Trek again, and like for real. And I loved all those characters. And I was in high school, and those are great. Yeah, Discovery, I watched it, and I want these shows to be good, and I'll put up with a lot of crap just to have some content, because I'd rather be doing that than mowing the yard or working or doing something else, and I'm just happy to see
There's
it.
advertising.
But
yeah, there you go.
Discovery, like if you're
Star Trek
was
Star Trek Discovery, it's better than mowing the yard. There you go.
That was Edward interrupting there.
I wasn't interrupting.
Well, did you like Discovery? I liked
the first season, and I had big hopes for the Red Angel and all that, and I liked it. They took you some places and kept you wondering, and I started kind of figuring out where they were going to go with it. Once where that went to where they are now, man, as a big kind of a left turn. And
I know what happens, but I stopped watching after season 1.
Yeah, I liked it, and I have friends who are like
surprised. Clint likes.
Yeah, Clint likes.
What doesn't Clint like? That is a great question.
But no, but the second season was all right too. It's just, but now this last season that came out, I was just, I don't know about that one. And so if I say that, it's not good.
Yeah.
Dude, is it really like The Burn is named after her?
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't even remember.
Lastly, Picard season 1. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did watch that. I've had multiple arguments with my friend, and analyzing the character. My buddy was like, this isn't even Picard, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but he's damaged and he's been through all kinds of trauma. And so he's different. He's older. Things happen in 20 years. And so I can defend him being different and behaving differently. There's a lot of things that go on.
Especially after Mars.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And so, my buddy's like, hey, dude, it's like watching Professor Xavier play, and I'm like, exactly. I mean, I like the character, the personality that the actor puts out. You know, I like that guy. Patrick Stewart, I could watch him play darts. I think he's fantastic. Yeah. But like, and I thought he did a great job. Some of the writing was a little hokey, and things like picking a fight in public and having all of a sudden this random samurai guy chops somebody's head off in the middle of
going undercover in the bar.
There's a lot of
Quebecois French accent.
There's a lot of hokey stuff, but I can suspend all that and put it aside and just enjoy the end of my day before I go to bed and watch the thing. And some of the episodes were better than others. The most distracting thing of that show was the like crime boss lady looked like Counselor
Marina Sturtis.
She looked like Counselor Troy, and I was like, wait, is that her? She looks great. And then I was like, oh, then she pops up in the show, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't her. Is that her daughter? Like, what's going on? I was trying to figure that out, but yeah.
I watched the first couple of episodes of Picasso. I think I watched the first 4 or 5, and after that I was like, this is not for me. This is bad, like genuinely bad, this show. Like, and I have a limited knowledge of Star Trek. Like, I've watched the J.J. Abrams films. I watched The Next Generation, some episodes of that, so I knew a bit about Jean-Luc Picard, and I knew that the kind of character he is. He's quite stoic in that show, and this even
say his name again, Edward.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Patrick Stewart plays Jean-Luc Picard. No, but and even I was watching the show thinking, this isn't Jean-Luc Picard. This is Professor X. He's playing, and it is a completely different character. And then watching it, I'm like, okay, so obviously the people that have written the show, Kurtzman probably, have been like, what do people like about Star Trek? They like the Borg, so let's get them in. And they like what are the not Vulcans, the evil Vulcans.
Romulans.
and then they're like, let's get them in. And I can't remember her name, but the evil Romulan is fucking terrible in that show. And her brother's plan is so bloody dumb. I'm like, I'm gonna make her fall in love with me, this android, and then just lock her up in this room. And I was watching, I was like, I'm done. This whole thing is so stupid.
I'm the simp that they were catering to on that show. I'm like, hey, it's Data. Wow. Yeah. And then the next episode, yes, Riker. And I'm like, yeah, the cube. I was just like, oh, look at that.
Sorry, we have to bring this comment up. The Up Down 7 split sounds like he watches TV like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I do. Jumping on my bed. I'm like, whoa!
I love that.
As in our generation, growing up on Next Generation, and it means a lot to us. Seeing all that stuff, Riker and Data, and Worf hopefully comes back next season. Geordi's supposed to come back next season. Guinan, like, I'm gonna be jumping on the bed too. I was every moment, Riker. Yeah, and Riker shows up with his ship at the end. It was absolutely brilliant.
Did you see the little teaser with Q talking?
No.
There's a teaser that came out at, I think for Picard, and Q is going to be coming back. So it was interesting. I'll send that to you later on.
Nice, please do. And Up to Down 7. It is okay to be happy and optimistic.
It is. I wish I was more like Clint.
Yeah.
Live a happier life, that's for sure.
I do. I do. The thing is, I do genuinely like a lot of stuff. Like, I really liked the first season of Star Trek Discovery. I thought that was really good. I'm a big Jason Isaacs fan, and I thought his performance in it was really interesting. I mean, my like science fiction background is more kind of English stuff, so like Doctor Who. Blake 7 was something I used to watch a lot. You won't know that show. Only English people know that show. Blake 7 was a really good show. I really liked it. Doctor Who was crap, but I used to watch it as a kid. So that was very. And then Star Trek was kind of something. I was always a bit like, I was always a Star Wars fan, and Star Trek to me looked a bit too, in a weird way, kind of grown up. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. It looks very political. when I used to watch it.
I was going to say, it sounds like, other than Edward, you guys are primarily TNG fans growing up.
I was raised on TOS, but
okay,
TNG was my show. Like
that was your show.
TOS was my mother's show, and then TNG was mine, and then Deep Space Nine was okay. I know a lot of people love it, but it's like you bam out of the gate religion and Star Trek. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't Next Generation, you know? Even though it tailed off that. And then Voyager was great. I really like that. Enterprise took a while to get to like it. Once Brent Spiner came on, it was really good.
So I mean, you're a true fan. Like, you like a lot of that material. When I say true fan, I just mean you like most of the IP.
No, I'm a true fan, and that's why I'm having a hard time with Discovery. But to go back to like Edward was saying, like he likes a lot of stuff, and I love a lot of stuff. Like Invincible, I'm crazy about it. I think it's great. But if we were just like, hey, welcome to Small Screen Stories. What do you think about Invincible? Oh, it's good. Okay, yep. You guys, that was over. All right, you know. But there are things that we have to discuss that do irk us or do take us out of the moments. You know what I mean? So
I love. I was just sorry to interrupt you, Peter. I love having these conversations, though. It's like it's interesting to hear. It's like for me when I was younger, like, oh, Clint likes everything, but like when I was younger, I've dealt with a lot of crazy stuff in my life, and I've always used, much like Wanda, I've always used going to the movies. There was times where my dad was dying and sick, and I was working 50 hours a week and taking care of my dad, and the only free time, the only break where I couldn't go on vacation, I could do anything, I would turn my phone off for 2 hours and watch a movie in a theater, and I would sit in the dark in a theater, and that was my breath of fresh air from the bad stuff going on in my life. And so and same with TV, and it's like, and I could turn my phone on, and hopefully I didn't have a voicemail because I had my phone off. It's like content like movies and TV, that's what they do for me. It's like an escape. And I look forward to it, and if it's okay, that's good. If it's bad, then I just say, man, I wish I hadn't wasted my time with that, but it's better than dealing with these other things that are going on. That's kind of why I am the way I am.
You're not going to take bad content personally, right?
No, I don't. And here's another thing, without taking up too much of time, you know, I know I'm not the only guy on here, but I'm a musician. I've had a record deal. I've been on Columbia Records. I've been under the pressure from executives. I've had producers telling me to change how my songs are written. I've helped write scripts for TV shows with friends that, you know, and that never amounted to anything. We enter them into contests and stuff. I've done stand-up comedy. I've done a lot of crazy stuff in the entertainment business, and a lot of people are quick to pass judgment on things who've never done anything themselves. And so for me, it's like, even though a show sucks, I have a real respect for the camera guys, the lighting guys, the actors that did a good job, but they had a shitty script. You know, there's so many people involved that put their heart and soul into this. When you just walk in there and go, it fucking sucked. Like, I think it's not fair to the 200 people or 500 people that worked on the film or TV show. And that's why I give a lot of
people. Sorry, but and then the people that took 10 years to get it to that point.
Exactly.
What you're preaching now is what I preach daily on to my girlfriend when she's watching something. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand, you know?
Yeah, and that's a big part. Take that into account. I'm like, you know what? This show looked beautiful and was really good. I wish they'd had been stronger in this area, but I'll give it a pass for this reason. And that's why I am the way I am. So if I come off like too bubbly or like go team, that's why I am the way I am. So all right, I'm done with my rant.
Yeah, I think in terms of
how you feel now, up to down 7.
In your face.
Right. In terms of
sorry, Peter.
Oh,
just
sorry.
1 second. There we go.
There you go. In terms of criticism, I think in terms of criticism, it depends on, you know, what you're criticizing for and to whom and for what purpose. You personally can like or dislike something for any reason that you have. It doesn't matter. It's your opinion, and you can express that to anyone as well. I think there's a difference between saying something is bad that people shouldn't like because for whatever reason, and just saying, yeah, I liked it, or yeah, I didn't like it. And if people want to hear your reasons, that's great. But Yeah, certainly respect to the people who do the work, absolutely. But at the same time, it's product, right?
Mhm.
It's not something being made to make the world better. It's there to sell something. You're trying to stamp toys out of plastic. You want to bring people into theater.
Well,
you want
okay,
ratings or subscriptions.
Not everything is product, though, Peter.
No, but most of the things that we would talk about is absolutely product, right?
Yeah.
So you know, Disney is not
Do
making
you think
things for us.
Invincible would be product, or would you count like Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I don't know enough about it to talk about it.
Okay, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's product.
That's
right?
product.
But it didn't start out as product. The comic stories, the characters, yeah, they were made as product, but they were made with care and to tell stories and to resonate with people.
You can still create art that is also product. They're not mutually exclusive, but it only exists to sell. No one is going to put it out there if no one buys it. So it is a product, even if it is, you know, made by someone who's trying to make a statement. And so as such, I think you certainly have a right as a consumer to say, no, this is not something I enjoy. And it doesn't matter why you don't enjoy it. That's not a shot against the person who came up with it. You're just saying this is not for me.
No,
I
but
didn't like this for A, B, and C.
That terminology is pretty dirty, though. Like
it sounds dirty, but it's right.
It is. It's right. But like I gotta say, Peter, if you spent like a year making a comic book and self-publishing it, and someone flipped through and said, "Oh yeah, that's good product. Thanks, man." Like how would you know? But then there's films
that's what most
are
people
made
will
by
tell you.
committee. What's that?
Most people will give you very short, yes, I liked it, no, I didn't. Neither of which is particularly useful feedback. Although
Brother, I've been
like
self-publishing comics since I was 12 years old, and making my own. I understand audience feedback and how to let it slide off your back. But I'm just saying, like, to say everything is a product, yes, that's correct. But you have to differentiate between the fact that some things are made by committee and executives, and some things are spawned and created with care and to have a purpose.
The second you try to share that with somebody else, it becomes product. When you're doing it something for yourself, writing a song, painting a picture, but like if I've got a song that's 9 minutes long, I'm going to cut it down because, man, it's too long. Why is it too long? Because people are going to think it's too long. I'm going to change it to not be 9 minutes long. Same with, your decision to use certain techniques of animation because they save money. Like if you didn't care what people thought, you're just like, oh, this is how I'm going to do it. But it's all matters. If the second you start trying to share it with people, it becomes product because you're wanting, even just if it's not about money, it's just about a smile that you get from your product. That's you're getting a smile for the product.
But that's completely different than made by committee or made by executives, which is packaged for product for mass. You know what I mean?
That's just a super organized, obnoxious, exaggerated version of the same thing. It's still product.
Let me try and say it better. There's less creativity in that instance than there is from the other instance. Can we all agree on that?
Absolutely.
That's why I think product is such a dirty word to just put a blanket over everything.
I don't disagree with the idea that you should never just disrespect the people involved in something, even if it is just to stamp something out of plastic.
And here comes the but.
Yeah, well, you have to have a but. Criticism itself is also an art. To be able to take something and discuss why it is or isn't effective, that's not only like a useful or an interesting skill and something interesting to explore if someone's good at it, but if you're a consumer and you want to know, is this thing for me? Having someone be able to take that and let you know, yes, it is, or yes, it isn't, because of whatever reason, that's incredibly useful. You can't possibly, in the time available to you, know that ahead of time, right? It's far better to have someone who can review it for you or discuss it at least, and then you're like, yes, this is for me. No, this isn't for me.
Yeah,
and go from there.
That's not in question here at all. No, it's just
it also helps the creator get better. Criticism is great. It's like a restaurant that sucks and you don't tell them, and then maybe they need to fire this grill guy or something. And hamada. Nobody ever told it. It wanted to complain. They didn't want to complain about the food, so they never told them that the guy's overcooking the steaks. You know what I mean? Like they need to know about that so they can
how you grow.
Make better movies. Yep.
And feedback, and I've always been open to that in my creative endeavors. But again, that's not in question. What it is the blanket use word of product.
Yeah.
Right. And therefore it pigeonholes every IP from everything into one thing, which I think we need to separate those. I'm getting way too deep into this here.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think you're just
passionate about.
I think you're just not liking the idea of calling art product.
No. Art is I agree. Art is product, but there are different kinds of product.
I agree, absolutely. For sure. I don't think, like I said, I just think most of the kinds of things we're talking about that are made by giant corporations are just going to fall into the same sort of generic bag of what they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't appreciate the good things in them, but
go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like. I just told you to hit the motherfucking like button. So you gotta do it right now. Do it.
And moving along. Let's start criticizing things. And talk about Mortal Kombat.
I haven't watched it yet. Anyone else watch it besides Edward?
Okay.
That's really good.
Whatever. Okay, we can talk about certain creators and saying criticism makes them better. There was one creator and director that no matter how much he was criticized, he never got better, and his name was Paul W.S. Anderson, and he directed the first Mortal Kombat film, which people love.
And U-Bowl.
What was the other one you said?
And U-Bowl.
I don't get that.
You don't know who U-Bowl is?
No.
Okay, I'll send you a link later.
Okay, all right.
Neil Breen, that's another good one.
Well, anyway, so he directed the first Mortal Kombat film, and today the third Mortal Kombat film came out after Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which was so that basically these Mortal Kombat films, even though the first one has a cult following, I'm sorry people, but it's not very good. I watched it recently; it's really not very good. Now,
that's the fun.
Peter,
I do.
Are you a human brain?
That guy's movies are just the best. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll talk now later about Neil Breen.
I mean, people are saying U-Bowl. So obviously, is he someone that just doesn't make very good movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is he probably on
IMDb? Maybe someone will ring for it.
Okay. Now, I feel kind of bad criticizing this film now after this.
No.
This conversation we've had.
This is literally product. Go ahead.
Because the problem is that this new Mortal Kombat film, I watched the trailer and I was like, yes, I am so down for this film. It's a lot of it I think was filmed in Australia or is filmed by it's an Australian director. It features quite a few Australian cast members in it, and it looked like I was like, finally we're going to get a Mortal Kombat film that's good. Finally we're going to get like an actual relatively decent video game movie, which we still haven't really had yet. We're still waiting for the first decent video game movie. It won't be Uncharted. I really don't think it's going to be Uncharted.
What about Sonic?
Sonic was fine, but it wasn't great, and neither was Pikachu or Detective Pikachu or whatever that was. I mean, we still haven't had a decent video game movie.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, U-Bowl, House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain, Seed, In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, Postal, Blood Rain 2, Tunnel Rats, Far Cry, Stoic, Rampage, The Final Storm, Blood Rain, The Third Reich, In the Name of the King of the World, Rampage 2, UN Now, Rampage Present Down. Yeah, he went really crazy about protagonists going on rampages and shooting citizens and people.
Nice. And then, sorry, Danzig says, Ed, don't yuck on my yum. The Paul W. Anderson Mortal Kombat was a masterpiece.
Yes, it was great with their nostalgia glasses. And Paul W. Anderson also directed Starship Troopers, right?
No, he didn't. That was shit.
No, he did Alien vs. Predator, which is crap. I saw that in the theater.
He did Alien vs. Predator. The one film I would say I would give him a pass on is Event Horizon. That's the one film that he did that I was like, actually, that wasn't that bad. Mortal Kombat, it has a cult following, his film, and I think it's because it came out at a time where people were just desperate to see a film like that.
No, it's because you're too young, Edward. That's why.
It's
maybe
bad, like it's fun bad. It's everyone knows it's a bad movie, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, right? I would give it that. I would give it that. It's not a particularly good movie Like, it's just not a very well made movie. It's not a good movie, but
you
it's
didn't like
fun to
Soldier
watch.
with Kurt Russell?
I never watched it.
He cried. He sheds a tear.
Just one.
Yeah, just one. It's a brilliant masterpiece. Yeah,
Oh, wait,
Paul
what
Verhoeven did Starship Troopers, right? RoboCop director.
Yes, that's it. Paul Verhoeven directed that. And Starship Troopers is, I think, a masterpiece. And I think at the time it was not understood at all. It's like a complete pastiche on like the U.S. military and
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
On target even today.
Yeah. But tell us what you didn't like about it, Edward.
About Mortal Kombat.
No, Starship Troopers.
I know. I really like Starship Troopers.
No, you gotta hate something. This is your show, right? We gotta criticize.
No. I do. I really like Starship Troopers. I love the fact. What I love, right, is the fact that Paul Verhoeven went out there and deliberately found the worst actors he could find to
Soap
be
opera stars.
Exactly. He was like, imagine being cast and then realizing that's why you've been cast.
Maybe
they didn't. Maybe they didn't. But as far as this new Mortal Kombat film is concerned, it's shit. And why is it shit?
And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing.
Why is it shit? It's shit because there's no fucking Mortal Kombat in it. It's like the whole reason of seeing a Mortal Kombat movie is so that you can see a bloody tournament. So you can see them fight each other in a ring. And it actually be a tournament. Like, that's the whole point of the game. The game is a tournament. That's the story of the game. The
game is a product and is meant to sell arcade cabinets and video games.
Yeah, right.
Very much so.
Very much so. Yes, it is as well. But I love the video game, and I was watching.
Sure it was made with love by the creators, especially when they did the rotoscoping and the green screen. So it ended up as a product, but it was created with love.
Not that much love.
Yeah.
I've got negative things to say.
I was just gonna say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about Mortal Kombat.
Clint.
Yeah.
What don't you like about Mortal Kombat? The video game?
First of all, they fooled you. And I heard that they released the first, I think it was 7 minutes of the movie just to people. They teased it. I really loved the first 13 minutes of the movie. That was up until the title card pops up.
So you've watched Mortal Kombat?
I saw it today. I looked and saw that we were going to talk about this, and I go, "Oh crap! I better get on this." And I watched it this morning. And
the best bit of the film is the beginning.
The first 13 minutes with where they show Hanzo Hisashi's backstory with his family. There's and it's probably because he's a good actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff, but there's some emotion. There's it's just building the story. And I watched this, and then Raiden shows up. I've loved Raiden since I was a kid. Even like Big Trouble in Little China Raiden. I love Raiden. I think he's awesome. He was my favorite in the game. And then after all this goes down, you get to see Sub-Zero, you get to see Scorpion, and then then all of a sudden Raiden shows up, and I said, fuck yeah, because the like you said, the trailer looks cool. Like they made it look like it's going to be pretty cool. And then they shifted gears and they changed the kind of movie that it was. And I like campy, stupid movies like Fast and the Furious and all. Like, if that's what you're going to have, cool, do that, but they set it up in the beginning like it's going to be like a really cool drama kind of a movie with some action. And then they turned it into something completely campy and stupid. Like I said, if I'm signing up for that, that's cool. But they shifted gears in a bad way, and it was just weird. They went from like good storytelling to shitty storytelling. And here's the deal. I think if they would have made it 15 minutes longer and just had a bunch of extra fighting where there's so much badass fighting, you would forgive all the rushed, crappy storytelling. Or you could have made it 30 minutes longer and had more time to develop the story, not just the quick explanations for dumb stuff. Like it just didn't tell the story very well. And so it was just rushed. Everything felt super rushed. And we know Warner Brothers likes to have short movies. So they didn't get the opportunity to do that. So if you're not going to tell the story correctly, like you could have told 15 more minutes of story, better written parts, and then more fighting, and it would have been great. But if you're not going to do that, then just quit playing around and just give us a ton of fighting, and there you go. Because if you're not going to make a real story, just fight a lot. That's all we wanted to see anyway. Give us more blood and kicks.
Lewis Tan actually said, so he plays what's his name, Cole something. He's a new character in this, in this universe. He said there was a lot of fight scenes that were left on the cutting room floor. And you can kind of tell when you're watching the film, it's like they really rush through the actual fight scenes. It's like they have this whole moment when they're in like whatever they have, the nether region or whatever the fuck they're in, and then they're like, we got this, let's come up with this plan right now, let's do it. You're gonna fight that you're gonna fight that person, I'm gonna fight that person with you, and let's do it really quickly and literally have all these fights happen at once. And I was watching, I was like, what was the point of that? We had all this shit before it where it's like, we're gonna do some kind of you said it right, it's like it's a soap opera for about half of the movie.
Kano gets kicked in the nether regions by Sonya Blade. I noticed that, but I was bored. Like I really was. I was like, this is I was like, this is bad. And let's get to the action, because like I really was bored. And for a second, I thought about like, dude, I got a couple of chores that I can knock out real quick before the stream. I thought about stopping. I was like, I've seen enough. You know, if I could get more out of watching the Shang-Chi's trailer like 4 times in a row, and I'd be good. You know,
I kept on thinking that. I was like, Shang-Chi is going to be so much better than this. Like, I mean, and of course it is, but I was watching it thinking, you could just watch the trailer of this movie and you've literally watched the movie. Like you've watched all the best bits of the film, and they're the finishing.
So that's jeez, is that true? That's delightful.
Yes, it is true. And you talked about Scorpion. Scorpion doesn't come up until the end, literally, and it's
but he's Hanzo Hisashi in the beginning. He's the guy in the very beginning that fights with Sub-Zero. And it's his bloodline. He turns into Scorpion by the end. Spoiler alert. But yeah, it's. I mean, it was just not good. But I will say, I liked the characters. Like I liked them. It was like, it's a shame, because if they would have just made a little effort to write a better, less rushed story, this could actually be good. If they took the same, it's almost like you had a different director do the intro and then do the rest of the movie. It's very strange. And I will say too, Jax, Makad Brooks. I know his brother. And he looks just like him. He played Jimmy Olsen in the Supergirl series. But every time I see that guy, it's really distracting, because I've hung out with his brother. And so his brother's awesome. So I'm sure he's a good guy too.
One of the things I did think about it was the way they got their powers was also really dumb.
Yeah,
because it's like, okay, we're just gonna, like, literally the way Kano gets his powers is they insult him and then he gets angry and it's like, really, that's what you're gonna do?
I mean, I like it. I liked it. I think they should have just like, that's okay. That was okay. It was so stupid. Like, own it. If that's what you're gonna do, make a super stupid movie. They kind of. The same thing when he spits on the garden gnome, you know what I mean? Like, they had already made the point that he's an obnoxious tool, and then he starts and then he's just like, boom, he spits on the garden gnome. I was like, you took it one step too far. You could have stopped right there.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's okay at being stupid, because it's a stupid concept. Kano, does he steal the show? I'm not sure. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really think much of any of the characters, to be honest. And I actually thought I like Lewis Tan, and I think there's a lot of potential there. But his character in this is very, very anemic. Like, there's nothing there. He's literally, it's all set up. The guy just gets beaten up all the time. That's literally the setup for this character. He starts off in an MMA fight and he gets beaten up, even though he basically is winning for most of it. And then at the very end, he gets beaten up, and it's like, okay. And then they kind of go, "You were once this great champion." It's like, really, this guy? And then he literally just gets beaten up for most of the rest of the film. And then all of a sudden, when it's his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter, I don't think that's his actual daughter in the movie, because Lewis Tan is way too young to have a daughter that age. I'm assuming, but it just does. I mean, anyway, and then all of a sudden he gets a suit of armor.
Yeah,
and I'm a bit like, what? Your power is that you get beaten up so much that you need a suit of armor.
It was weird. It was I saw it coming. They're like yeah, what are you doing? I'm looking at my family. I'm like, oh, and then 20 seconds later, Raiden shows up. You're not good enough. Go back to your family. Yeah. And then he sends him to his family. And then he's with his. And I was like, okay, here we go. You're gonna get icicles any second, and then he's gonna end up fighting, and that's gonna make him okay. There's my powers manifested themselves. Like this other tool bag gets insulted to the point of a laser eye. Something's gonna, he's gonna go at the last second. It was really obvious what was gonna happen. It's like, yep, he's gonna have to protect his family because they just said the word family 5 times in 2 seconds. So
family.
I was gonna say, Danzig, Louis Tan should be thanking his lucky stars, or we'd be making fun of him just like we make fun of Finn Jones. So he got lucky. He was bitter about it at the time, but he got lucky. Scott Buck is not going to make you look good.
Wasn't Louis Tan up for the role of Nightwing? I think that was also another role he was going up for.
Yeah, why didn't Kevin Tarcharon, or however you say his last name?
Fujiwara?
Yeah. How come, no, not the WB guy. The director of, he did a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes, and then he also did the Mortal Kombat web series. And he developed this movie, and then they got Scott Buck, who's made nothing except like a short film. To direct this one.
I have a theory about Scott Buck.
Yes, go ahead.
Maybe Edward knows the answer to this, but this is certainly what I've heard, is that the reason Jeff Loeb liked Scott Buck was he was someone who could do something on a budget. And Iron Fist budget got cut because Daredevil season 2 wasn't planned. It was supposed to be 1 season for each character and then Defenders. But then they made the extra season of Daredevil 2 with the same block budget, and it got pulled out of Iron Fist.
Yeah, we discussed this before, but so Scott Buck didn't direct the movie Mortal Kombat.
No, it's a guy called Simon McCoy.
Right.
And
okay.
This is his first film.
Yeah, it's his first film. He's done like a short film. What's it called, Clint?
The Nighttime Economy. He did.
There you go.
Yeah. So why didn't they give it to the guy who did the web series?
I don't know.
And a veteran seasoned television director, and he's done some feature films too. Like, what does this guy have? Does he have pictures of someone in Hollywood, or
is his dad Kurt Russell or something? Like, what's going on? Yeah, I was like,
may know someone.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what's?
I wonder whether it might have something to do with. I think this might be an Australian production. So he's Australian. A lot of the actors in this are actually Australian. So I'm wondering whether it was all shot in Australia. So they just got someone that was probably available at the time, who was just happy.
They could have got George Miller.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to do it, was he? Him doing a Mortal Kombat film? That'd be brilliant. But
he produced it too. He produced Mortal Kombat also. So
wow.
Yeah.
What the director?
Yeah, Simon McCoy.
McCoy.
Yeah, Simon McCoy. Yeah, it says he's a director and producer. So that's interesting. If he's a money guy, he brought a bunch of money to the table.
Or they could just add him as producer, so he doesn't have to. He takes a pay cut or just gets a back end deal. But still, to have that double package, there's something going on there.
Most of this film was filmed in Australia. So I think this must have been just a completely Australian production. They just got an Australian director in. Like I think they literally just got whoever was available, and they got him to do it because he didn't write it. So it was Greg Russo wrote it apparently. But again, what did he do? He did literally nothing. It's like everyone involved in this movie didn't do anything beforehand, which doesn't necessarily mean it won't be any good.
Yeah,
but it's like this film is no good. So it's like you start wondering, why did it go wrong? The other thing I don't like about this film is Sonya Blade. I don't think she's very good in this film at all. Like her character is just really weird.
Yeah,
and it feels like she comes out of a sitcom. And it's like she's so desperate to get the mark. Like I was like, dude, the whole it's so easy. Kill fucking Kano. Just kill that guy, then you can get a mark, and then you're fine.
Where they really, as my friends say, shit the bed on that one is when as soon as she gets the mark, she's like, "Pam!" She's on the floor, and then you see the mark appear on her arm, and she's like. And she smiles like, I finally got it. I'm like, you just nearly got killed. You would not be smiling like that. It was like, I don't know. That was really corny.
And then her power is like, okay. That's
she got the 10 rings.
Yeah, she got the 10 rings, and then blew a hole. She just. And again, this is another scene in which the supposed hero of this movie is getting his butt kicked by what's her name? The Fang lady. I can't remember her name now. But she's not a particular. Like, I was like, this guy's supposed to be the hero. And he's constantly getting the shit kicked out of him. So it's kind of like, I'm not really into this.
If you're gonna have your hero lose, they lose early, and then the whole point is that they get revenge on whoever beat them up in the first place.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it's a poorly constructed film. And I do get the sense that a lot of it might have been cut. Again, I don't really know how much more time.
Release the whoever cut.
Yeah, release the McCoy cut.
Or the hashtag.
A lot of people are saying, a lot of people saying that Warner Brothers, got involved in this one as well. They probably did.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
restore the Bonerverse also.
Still the Bonerverse. Like, honestly, this film feels like a film that would have come out in like the early 2000s. That's
exactly right. That was exactly right. I was like, there was a time while I was watching, I was like, dude, maybe I'm too old for this. This is what I thought for a second.
Maybe.
And I was like, is this? I mean, it's a video game movie. Maybe this is supposed to be for 13-year-olds, And I was like, I don't know.
It's an R-rated one though. It's like 13-year-olds can't watch it.
16? I don't know.
We don't really. Sorry, go ahead, Edward.
No, you go.
I was gonna say it is funny that the old '80s action formula just doesn't seem to get replicated at all anymore. No. And they weren't expensive movies to make. You'd find that actor that people want to see punching people, and then no one was worried about the story. They would just run around following a very bare bones plot, hitting people until it was over. And there is an audience for that, but. Which is what you would think this kind of movie might be, but you wouldn't want the R tag on it, though. You'd want to be PG, so adolescent boys can go see it.
Yeah, but that's the problem though, because video games, like, let's be honest, who is really monitoring who buys a video game? Nobody. Nobody is.
That's not true.
No, come on.
Like, you mean for ratings wise?
Yeah, ratings. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
like if you go into a shop,
no one pays attention to that.
No one's paying attention to a 15-year-old kid that's buying an 18 or whatever. I'm doing UK based, but like I bought Mortal Kombat when I was way too young, and that it's a very gory game.
There's huge like Senate hearings about that stuff. Too in the US,
which is honestly understandable. But the thing is, I suppose the gore in it is so cartoonish that I suppose people think it's okay in a weird way. But then if you're going to make a movie based on this game, you're right, Peter, its main target audience is going to be 13 to 15-year-old boys that play Mortal Kombat.
Or just older men who have nostalgia for that kind of thing.
Well, we had Rambo action figures and RoboCop action figures in the 80s growing up.
Yeah, and those films were 18, like R-rated.
Rated R,
yeah. So it's weird what's going on. But maybe I was thinking that kind of because when I was watching, I was thinking this is definitely not made. Like it's skewing quite young in a weird way, in the way that it's written, and then you've got all this gore, and they're like, we got to put the gore in because that's Mortal Kombat, and that's what the Mortal Kombat fans that used to play the game, originally want, because that's what the game is. But then we're going to put all this shit in, which it seems like it comes from, I don't know, Riverdale.
I love the table saw thing with the hat.
That was cool.
That was badass. There were some fun parts in there, but yeah,
really bad CGI. Like really, like that felt rushed. I was looking at that.
I do think executives to this day just don't know what to do with video game IP.
Well, I think Sony
played them, right?
Yeah. I think Sony has a studio that's just dedicated to making video game movies now. So the first one's going to be Uncharted. That's the first one. And then they've got the Last of Us series that's going to HBO.
Until Disney buys them.
Yeah. Maybe Disney's the only one
It's
that
too
can do
late
it.
to change those, though. Disney can't buy them in time to rescue those things from their current state.
Or they could just leave them on the shelf like they did with New Mutants. And the only reason why they put that out was because it was an MCU property and it was a pandemic.
Yeah, and Dan's brought up Assassin's Creed. The Assassin's Creed movie is not good.
No,
it's a shame.
good actor.
No, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I love the Resident Evil movies. Those were fun and stupid.
Yeah, but they have nothing to do with the video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually their upcoming Resident Evil stuff that looks quite good. Like that I think it's called Raccoon City I think that's the show that's coming to Netflix. And that looks quite good. The story I loved was the fact that apparently a Legend of Zelda TV series, it was going to, I believe, be live action, was greenlit for Netflix, right? So Netflix got the rights from Nintendo, and then it leaked, and then Nintendo said, "Fuck it, we're taking it back. You can't make this anymore."
Wow!
I don't think it even leaked. I think what happened was they were in a meeting, and the Nintendo heads overheard talking. He was talking to someone. Like, okay, so yeah, it leaked. But what happened was it leaked inside the studio with the Nintendo heads there, and then they're like, "Screw it, we're not doing it anymore." And then the leak went out like the day after. Like they killed it before the leak actually hit the public eye.
Wow,
that's crazy.
They're so protective of their IPs, though.
I know.
Why did they kill it?
Because of the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's because of that.
That's exactly why. Because that ruined their whole experience.
And to be honest, if you had to go through that, I completely understand because that is awful.
It is. It's really bad.
But that was
getting drunk.
Oh man, and it's just watching that film and thinking, who played Super Mario Brothers and thought this is the film I want to make? Like the film at the end of the director, and then someone's like, "Oh, you directed Super Mario Bros." It's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Should we play it?" He's like, "Oh, I never played it." Oh, okay, all right, I understand now.
Some more Paul W.S. Anderson movies there.
Yeah, those Resident Evil movies sucked. Like, it's just, let's be honest. The first one was all right. I think the first one was all right, but then they got.
I was gonna say it's not a big surprise though when it comes to things that are not traditional films. Executives struggle and do terrible things for a long time until somebody comes along by accident or whatever and gets a chance to do it right, and then they can imitate it. Think of how many bad comic book movies we got in the past and still get, unfortunately, or things like fantasy stuff too. That took forever to get anything good. And even now, it's something
like Lord of the Rings was kind of the first like fantasy thing that I watched. That I was like, "Oh, this is now changing the game." And then
that was a struggle.
Yeah,
to get made.
And then comic book movies. I think for me, it was the first Spider-Man film. When I watched that, the first Sam Raimi one, I was like, "Oh, this is going to change things." I did like Darkman. I'm going to be honest, which was Sam Raimi's like the one he did before with Liam.
That was a great film. That was a great film.
That was really, I really liked it. Watching it now, it's aged quite poorly, but it kind of showed what Sam Raimi wanted to do with the comic book movie genre, even though it wasn't actually a comic book. It was just it was an original script, but it was definitely like playing on those comic book tropes. So yeah, we're gonna have to have that first. Like it might end up being an accident. That first video game movie.
Darkman was shot like in the vein of Batman 1989.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a camp and it got away. But
I suppose
Batman. We just pay notice to this.
Super Smash Bros. Mortal Kombat. That's what we wanted to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just grabbed it, and then we have to. Yeah, Bob Hoskins was great as Mario, but it's notoriously known that him and John Leguizamo had to get drunk throughout the whole thing because they couldn't stand working with the husband and wife team directing this and fighting with the studio the whole time. And like Bob Hoskins almost like chopped off his fingers. His fingers almost got chopped off making that movie. And John Leguizamo, I think, almost died or something.
Yeah, I heard about him almost dying. Imagine that he died making this film. Oh my god. No, honestly, I think though there will come a time where the very first very good video game movie will be made, and then that will become the next comic book movie genre. I think I do see a future where video game movies will become as big as comic book movies are right now. I think it's kind of inevitable.
It's got to get the story right. We need a Kevin Feige for the video game movies.
Yeah.
It's funny that Sony is making all these video game movies, but they can't even get their movies right.
Well, no, they are making a lot of money though at their films. Licensing them out to everybody.
Yeah.
So they're doing that right. The Spider-Man films are all right, but they're more Marvel than Sony. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see, I suppose. And then we've lost Peter. I don't know what happened to him, but
he's back in a second.
Okay, but I think
I didn't kick him out this time. So
I think he had a problem with his cats. Probably tonight's been the cat show. You two with your cats on. Apparently, there was a stunt woman who got horribly injured shooting a Resident Evil movie. That happens a lot. Who was it Charlize Theron that almost died doing one of the Kill Bill films?
Uma Thurman, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, not Charlize Theron. Uma Thurman, yeah.
I think Zoe Bell, her stunt double, might have. Yeah.
There's another show that recently
Deadpool 2.
Was that it?
Yeah, the Zazie Beetz. I think it's Zazie Beetz.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, her stunt double died in a motorcycle accident in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then The Walking Dead, a stuntman fell from, he's supposed to land on the mat and he missed it by like 3 feet. And then I think he died or he got seriously disabled. John Wick 2. The Crow, electrician. Griff got electrocuted and he was permanently disabled.
The Crow was notorious though, so that, he lost
Brandon Lee
on that film. Yeah,
there's apparently a paper wedge in the blank or something.
I don't get how that could happen.
Negligent. So negligent.
And the fact that it's still happening is really terrible as well.
Yeah. Well, everything's made to the lowest bidder. That's the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
I remember I was thinking about that when I read about the Zazie Beetz. I guess it was her stunt double. Just the idea of like that was a big movie for her. It blew up, but how something terrible like that could like tarnish the experience. You know what I mean? Like feeling guilt about that. I read that. I was like, geez, that would be terrible. Clearly anybody getting hurt is terrible. But I was just thinking from a actor's perspective, like, hey, this is my big movie. And then something terrible happens, like having to carry that around.
That'd be awful.
Right. And the director.
And everyone.
Yeah. Especially because they found like negligence in there too. Like it wasn't performed safely. I think she did one test run or something, or didn't even do a test run. She had training on the motorcycle, but it accelerated too fast, and it's just horrible.
Yeah,
like stunt people are often the forgotten about people in Hollywood, aren't they? They just kind of go, yeah, you know, do whatever. Like,
and then Tarantino makes a stuntman Mike a killer.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But that death was it Death Race?
Death Race, yeah.
Yeah,
not Death Race. That was shit. No, it wasn't Death Race, was it? The one with Kurt Russell.
Yeah. I'm blanking out on this now.
Death Proof.
Yeah, one of my favorite films. That was like an homage to stuntman, you know. And then they did it again in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So.
Yeah, but I really think I watched a lot of stuntmen react. I don't know if you watched that. It's on Corridor Crew.
I've seen clips of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's stuntmen talking and women talking about their experiences, and honestly, they always say the same thing. Working on a Netflix show is the worst.
Wow.
Because they're not protected, and like a lot of them worked on shows like Lucifer, like they said, like they're always getting injured on those shows. And if you're a stunt person,
it's because they're Canadian productions.
But if you get injured as a stuntman or a woman stunt person, then that's your no money for a prolonged period of time. So it's really. Go on.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's the same on Amazon, because someone nearly died on the Lord of the Rings show when they were filming their pilot. But I don't know if they have the same reputation.
This one now that they're doing now.
Yeah, the one they're doing now. Yeah,
Wow.
A stunt woman nearly died.
Wow, that's Hollywood for you, though. Unfortunately, that it seems that they're not really protected, and like they just think, oh, they're crazy people, they'll do it. Let's get them to do it, and they're insured. Kind of thing.
It's interesting because I don't ever think about that when I'm watching the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like occasionally you see an in memory of at the end of a movie or something, and you wonder, hey, I wonder what that was about. But no, it's crazy.
Have you heard about the Victor Morrow?
No.
And there was another one. I don't think this is the same story.
What Sassafras is asking, do we know how much stunt people get paid? Not much.
Yeah,
they don't get paid
as much as the stars do, for sure.
Yeah, they don't get paid a fraction as much. Honestly, the only actor that I'm like, fair dues, this Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, this guy is mad. Yes. He's a nightmare to insure because he does all of these things himself. But, at least he goes out and does it himself, and
stunt men and stunt women, they probably just get paid scale.
Yeah, I don't think they get paid very well. Like, not at all. I think it's a really poor paying job, to be honest. And it's really based on how your body is as well. And Jackie Chan.
Straight up OG.
Yeah. I mean, Jackie Chan hasn't been... Is he in anything coming out? I haven't really seen anything of Jackie Chan's for a while.
What was that movie with Pierce Brosnan he just did? Like
yeah.
That was pretty good. And then he made a sequel to Cop Story. I think it was in Hong Kong. I heard that was really good.
I haven't seen that, but I think he's got a thing coming out on Amazon Prime.
Cool.
That's about it. Yeah, I think he's got a show coming out on there.
He broke his ankle on Rumble in the Bronx, jumping to that hovercraft, and then he didn't want to stop production. So what happened was they gave him like a rubber slip-on for his cast that looked like his shoe, and he filmed a bunch of scenes. Like, he's hardcore. I love Jackie.
I mean, Tom Cruise has the same kind of similar story in Fallout. Like, he broke his ankle.
But how many stunts has Tom Cruise done compared to Jackie Chan? Like, Jackie,
you can't compare. They make different movies.
Yeah. But what I loved about that was they used
Tom Cruise like eats fetuses or something, so that's why he looks super young and everything. Jackie Chan just like keeps good of his body. I'm joking about Cruise, by the way. I love Cruise.
It's probably true. But what I loved about Fallout, and that was that they used that shot where he broke his ankle in the film.
Yeah,
that's the one they used.
It's like when Harrison Ford broke his arm or dislocated his shoulder in The Fugitive. They used this shot.
Oh, he had a thing land on him, didn't he? In one of the Star Wars films, it was
Force Awakens, but they didn't. They obviously didn't use that shot. There's also Viggo Mortensen breaking his toe, I think, kicking a helmet in Lord of the Rings. They kept that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danzig, we're entering an age where stunt performers will be deep faked with actors' faces over theirs. Well, we already are. They're already doing that. Yeah.
I mean, the Star Wars films, they're doing that all the time, and it looks terrible.
No, but even like they do it in action movies too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Stuntables.
Right. I think on that note, we should end the show because we've almost got to 3 hours now. I don't know how we've done it, but well done, guys.
Yeah, it was a fun 3 hours.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be doing one of these tomorrow. I suppose it's up to James if he wants to do it, and you guys, of course, if you want to come on. But before we leave, let the people know where they can find you. Clint, you go first.
I've got a channel called the Black Shirt Podcast on YouTube. So
no
check it
way, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it hasn't appeared, and
I've got.
Sorry, the cat loves that.
Yeah. I've also got another one called Answering for a Friend, if anybody wants to check that out. But yeah,
very good shows. Go and check those out. And share your Twitter handle, Clint.
My Twitter handle is Clint Ridlin.
Ridlin, there you go.
Yeah. It's CLINTRIDDLIN. Clint Ridlin.
Awesome. And Peter.
Yeah, waiting for. Just waiting for that to drop. Iron Marvel on YouTube and Twitter, and I have a blog, MCU and Comics.
And a column on Small Screen as well, don't forget.
And a column in Small Screen, that's right, on Wolverine. Check it out.
I've had enough! Get out!
James?
At 42cutcom. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want more subscribers.
What's your YouTube channel?
Search 42 cut com, or Star Trek Next Generation Seinfeld. You'll find it.
Awesome. And you can follow Small Screen at Small Screen Co. And yeah, you guys know the drill. Thank you very much. Clint, you really.
What? I'm not saying.
The funny thing is, Clint obviously doesn't know when he's taken off.
No, I think there's a bit of a delay. So
he keeps on talking.
Yeah.
Oh, Clint.
He's gonna reach through the screen and strangle me one of these days.
It's great having all three of you on the show. It's been a lovely kind of it's been a entertaining but also intellectual chat, I think, about everything that's come out this week. So thank you very much, guys.
What happens when I actually speak?
Yeah, it gets way too intellectual for me. I'm just sitting there going, yeah, that's me for the entire time. Right, guys.
Yeah, this is fun. It's like having a beer with my friends, and these are the conversations we have. So it's cool. You lie. It's cool hanging out with you guys internationally.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Right, we'll see you probably tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and goodbye. End the show.
Hamada burger.
Hamada burger. Hamada spoon.
Are we still live for some reason? Yes, I know. Yeah, all right, we are still live. James is just having a good time.
He is.
We're just going to wait, just smile and nod until the show is over.
Anyway, enough about our balls.
Wonder how long we could stay quiet before he turns it off.
He's just going mad, and then Clint's going mad.
I'm already mad.
And honest.
How many more of these?